Governor Tim Walz of failing to deter crimes in the state. Portland, Oregon is under fire again for hosting its annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony and nixing any mention of the Christian holiday, while leaders of the event instead waved a Palestinian flag and led the crowd in chants, "Free, free Palestine." A woman holding a Palestinian flag on stage said while leading the crowd. She also sang Strong Woman Song while joined by the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, which is a confederation of 3 native tribes in Oregon. The event was decked out in Christmas lights, a traditionally decorated Christmas tree, and a visit from Santa Claus, but did not promote any mention of Christmas. Our quote of the day: to convert somebody, go and take them by the hand and guide them. St. Thomas Aquinas. And you can learn all about our Saint of Today in today's Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. Coming up, looking at headlines from the lifestyle and faith world. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Capuchin Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com. Hey, Lee, you know, we've known each other for a bit now. I just wonder, what do you really love to do?
I love posting civilization-saving threads on X.com, but I get so tired of outrage porn scrolling my medulla has gone oblong blanca.
Well, I know just the thing. Pour an iced Capuchin Holy Roast coffee, put your earbuds in, and catch 2 hours of suspense. The greatest of all mystery, horror, and whodunit classic radio serials.
Perfect. While you were talking, I completely forgot who Jack Posobiec was.
Catch all 900-plus episodes of Suspense every weekday from noon to 2 p.m. East on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and classic radio,
the way it should be.
Our saint of the day is Saint Bibiana, and you can learn all about her in today's Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. Looking at headlines from the lifestyle and faith world today, the TSA will begin charging passengers $45 if they show up at airport checkpoints without an acceptable form of identification. That's a passport or real ID. The policy will be implemented starting February 1st of 2026. After careful review, it was determined that the expenses for the new technology and operational costs were higher than originally projected, leading to an increase in the final fee, which had been previously $18, according to senior TSA officials. Hallow founder Alex Jones and House of David star Michael Iskander appeared on Fox to share how Psalm 46, Advent, and the Pray 25 Challenge can help people find peace in a noisy world this holiday season. Hallow's Advent Prayer Challenge, Pray 25, began on Monday, December 1st. Each year, Pray 25 invites people to take a step back from the chaos of the holiday season and take a step close to God. This Advent focuses on discovering deeper stillness amidst the chaos of the holiday season, just as Mary did on that first Christmas. Pray 25, Be Still, offers the opportunity to put aside holiday stress and allow God to transform our hearts through prayer. Jonathan Rumi and Sister Miriam James will lead reflections on the Read of God to begin each week, and award-winning actor and producer Chris Pratt will guide sessions on the ruthless elimination of hurry each Friday. Even Gwen Stefani and Mother Natalia will join up, with sessions focusing on being still, using the lives of saints as inspiration, and Father John Burns will guide listeners through sessions of imaginative prayer, while Father Pierre Toussaint will offer homily reflections each Sunday during Advent. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
Hey, Jim, remember when we used to be like Joe Walsh?
I'm making records, my fans, they can't wait.
Now we just talk about making hit records. Well, parody versions of hit records.
Join the KingDude and Jim Mosier as they pick apart the greatest parody songs of all time and the hits they were based on. It's Album Autopsy, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be, and doesn't disappoint your mother.
Kalikimaka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway. Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine by day and all the stars at night. Melakalikimaka is a wise way to say Merry Christmas to you. Take it, girl.
Melakalikimaka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we
I wonder how you say $92 million or $91 million in Hawaiian. Asking for a friend. Well, greetings to you. It is a Tuesday. We are live here on the Crusade Channel, Mike Church Show. America's Morning Show is on. Xing the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire. For a safe and secure society.
So I'm calling on Congress to pass these reforms, and I'm going to sign them in the law.
No, you're not.
Thunder, well, now you got it.
Uh-huh.
You tell them I'm coming, and Hal's coming with me, you hear? Hal's coming with me!
All righty, our call-in line telephone number if you'd like to be on the program today, 844-527-8723. 844-5-CRUSADE, email address same as it ever has been. I'm going back to KingDude at MikeChurch.com. Since no one seems to be able to remember, I am KingDude at ProtonMail.com. We'll go with KingDude at MikeChurch.com. Of course, you know, when we were on the Sirius XM Patriot channel back in the day, and I'd give out KingDude at MikeChurch.com, I'd go for weeks without getting a single solitary useful, purposeful email. So maybe it's not the address. Maybe it's something else. No, I won't say. KingDude at MikeChurch.com. Crusader Stadium chat room is open at crusadechannel.com/chat here on the first Tuesday of Advent. And 2025's big special election in Nashville today. This left-wing lunatic woman who is running against this Republican Jeff Van Epps here. I saw the latest Fox News Opinion Dynamics, whatever the hell they call it, poll.
That chick right there.
She's a wacko.
She is crazy.
But you know what? Maybe you lunatics in Nashville deserve her. She was down 3 points. Fox News Opinion Dynamic polls usually short whatever the Republican is in any state, in any race, 3 to 5 points. So I don't think that is going to be a seat flip today. But then again, you know, these people are really good at cheating. And it will all depend on MAGA voter turnout. Speaking of MAGA voter turnout, and MAGA stuff in general here, the Sedition 6 coup is still in operation. Remember last week when we talked about this, when Alyssa Slotkin and the traitor Mark Kelly and Snow and the other three, whoever their unimportant names are, came out with it. You receive an illegal or lawful order, you must disobey. We're relying on you to not carry it out. My, oh my, how convenient is it that a known policy and a known strategic military action all of a sudden produces on a silver platter hey, General Halsey, you shouldn't have carried out that order. That was an illegal, illicit order, and you shouldn't have carried it out. Well, no, it wasn't Halsey, and I have the New York Times story open. Let me make sure I get it right. I think it was Bradley. The order was given, and Hexeth had told this general, it was Admiral Bradley. Admiral Bradley ordered the initial missile strike and then several follow-up strikes that killed the initial survivors and sank the disabled boat. As the operation unfolded, they said Hexeth did not give any further orders to him. So the story that Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin are out there promoting is that Hexeth was told that they got Venezuelans swimming around in the water, going to make their way back to Venezuela. And they said, you send in there and I don't want a fire drone on them, incinerate them at sea. And a second, third, and fourth strike were carried out in order to take out the surviving members. And then, of course, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but this is obviously clearly a violation of the law of the sea treaty and the Geneva Conventions. Didn't seem to have any problem violating the Geneva Conventions when Obama was president. Didn't seem to have any problem violating the Geneva Conventions. And by the way, the Geneva Conventions don't just apply to people who are at war. The Geneva Conventions also apply to civilians on things like forced vaccination. You didn't seem to have any problem with the Geneva Conventions when the Biden regime was running around the United States ordering tens of millions of people to be vaccinated against their will. That was a violation of the Geneva Conventions as well. But you know what? We don't look. Well, look, what's a little sedition among friends? I'm going to tell you. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. I cannot be the only one that thinks that this whole don't give up the ship nonsense, which is not nonsense now, that this whole don't give up the ship thing has an objective. And the objective is either a resigned or an impeached Trump. That's the objective here. You know, it used to be that Congress just kind of served the people that it represented. And if a president got really, really wacko out of line and did something so horribly and egregiously, something so terribly wrong that everyone recognized it, well, then Congress might have to step in. Now we have complete and total, never-ending, 24/7 combat of an entire branch, a near majority of the legislature against the executive, against the president who was duly elected. How's he supposed to carry out his job? And how's he supposed to carry out and keep any of his promises? So I think that, again, that these people are actually plotting. I think that they are plotting. The fact that they're now using the military, and the fact that they're now kind of coyly going, well, you know, if you did receive an illicit illegal order, you should have disobeyed it. But, you know, when the next one comes through, then you might have to take further action. What's further action? And by the way, the New York Times in this story is quoting several anonymous sources. There's a couple things wrong with that. Number one, if you're dealing with matters of state where the survival of the presidency, or of the president, rather, is at stake, I don't think you should be allowed to run around and quote anonymous sources. Either tell us who it is and give them whistleblower status, or make them a whistleblower, or STFU. That's one thing. Second thing, if there are that many, New York Times says there's 5. 5! If there are that many anonymous sources remaining in the Department of Defense or the Department of War, whatever the hell you want to call it, in the Pentagon, and they're willing to pick phones up or answer phone calls or text messages and turn state's evidence or allege state's evidence or to help manufacture evidence against the current president, you got a bigger problem than the Sedition 6. You may have a problem that is so deep-rooted inside that five-sided temple of evil called the Pentagon that however many people you have laid off or fired or getting rid of or furloughed or whatever that are in the DOD, yeah, you probably need to triple that. You might need to fire everyone. You know, that brings up another thing. What is this nonsense? He's a careerist at the Pentagon. Well, how does that happen? You made a career out of making war? Anyway, we'll circle back to it. Oh, I just said circle back. We'll come back to it and talk about it later. Last night on, this was funny. I don't know, is this funny? Or is this sad? Last night on... Last night on Monday Night Football, the place kicker for the New York Football Giants attempted a field goal wherein he kicked the turf. He thought he had a 9-iron in his hand and was taking a 70-yard pitch shot and was attempting to take a divot, apparently. It was almost like that when he got close enough to the ball, he saw, uh-oh, I'm a whole step off. So he just kind of kicked his toe into the ground. I must say, I have been watching the NFL for 52 years. In 52 years, 55. In 55 years of watching the National Football League, I have never seen a botched kick like that. Have you? Has anyone? I mean, I've seen some shankopotamuses. I've seen some balls shanked, but I've never seen one actually missed. It was almost like it was a Charlie Brown, Lucy Van Pelt moment. And the Giants kicker thought that the holder was going to pull the ball out from under him just at the last moment when he was about to kick the ball. I don't think that anyone thought that it wasn't supposed to be funny. That just kind of turned out that way. That dude's never going to live that down. He's probably already has the nickname Chili Dip, because that's what it is. When you do that on a golf course, when you hit behind the ball, but a mound of dirt goes flying and the ball doesn't move. The ball could move in a chili dip, maybe 10 feet. That's called a chili dip. I have been the author and practitioner, executor of many a chili dip in my day, and I can tell you all about it. There's nothing fun about it, but I've never done one with my actual foot. So, interesting little turnout there. Just continuing to talk about what's going on in college football. So yesterday, new LSU head coach Lane Kiffin does his meet the half court Louisiana press. He goes to LSU and have a big hoop-de-doo. He's announced by the athletic director and the president of the U. Jeff Landry is there, and they're all welcoming and glad-handing their new $91 million man. This while there are still several head coaching vacancies that are yet to be filled. There are coaches that are quitting as teams are heading into the playoffs. Like Kiffin was for Ole Miss. I think to their credit went, no, dude, you can't coach our team in the playoff game. You want to go to LSU? Go to LSU. Bye, Felicia. They literally bye Felicia'd him. But we have a soundbite. I'll play it for you later. Chip Roy brings this up, and I've been bringing this up. Division I NCAA college football is now competing for advertisers with the NFL. Now, I don't know that on the surface that there's anything that is uniquely erroneous or wrong about that. But look at what it's done to what used to be just, and these were uniquely American things, famous, if you will. If you were, say, if you lived near a university, that's probably where you would go. You weren't recruited, and you didn't leave L.A., for example, rarely. You didn't leave Los Angeles because you could play at USC, or you could play at UCLA, or you could play at UC Irvine, or Cal, or at Stanford, or a dozen other Division I schools in California. You probably didn't go very far from California. Conversely, if you lived in Louisiana and played football in New Orleans or Baton Rouge or Lafayette or Lake Charles area or Alexandria or Shreveport, you were probably recruited by LSU or ULL or maybe Southeastern or McNeese. You were probably recruited by a local school. That's not, and it's still kind of happening, but that's not primarily where players are being picked up and are going to these schools. Then this wretched thing called the player portal, I think, is the worst idea in the history. If you're going to have amateur or semi-pro college-level sports, there has to be some attachment to the college. It doesn't make any sense that just in order to win a trophy or a championship or whatever the case may be, that you have to leave the sphere in which you, for which you are famous, to which you're supposedly attached. LSU is supposedly attached to Baton Rouge. Ole Miss is supposedly attached to Mississippi. And to, I get them mixed up. So Ole Miss is Oxford and Mississippi State is Jackson, right? The two largest cities in Mississippi. The point is, and I actually saw an interesting stat the other day, and I went, that's it. But I did not think of that. During the Iron Bowl game, which is Alabama versus Auburn, it's usually the last regular season game every year. And there have been years when Alabama was 1 and Auburn may have been 2 or 3. There have been some really good games, like when Cam Newton was quarterback at Auburn. They said, and I didn't get a chance to check this, that of the rosters of the University of Alabama, which plays out of Tuscaloosa, and University of Auburn, which plays out of Auburn, Alabama, which is not a very large city. The university is probably the biggest business that there is there. Between the two teams, there were 90-some-odd%, I think it was 91 or 92, something like that, percent of the players that were playing in the game were Alabama residents. Now, I didn't get a chance to check the stat, but if it was true, I'd say that, well, I guess you could probably live with that. Let's just pretend for a moment that LSU is playing Tulane. If you ran the same numbers, would there be a similar amount of Louisiana residents playing a game between what used to be two great college football rivalries. Same thing for Texas and Texas A&M, or a Texas Tech game. How many of those kids actually come from Texas? Well, I think it ought to be an overwhelming vast majority here, but something has been lost. You know, when I was a little children's and was watching college football, you would expect that University of Nebraska would be a contender. They were a contender every year for a championship at that conference. I think that was the Big Ten, that they played in the Big Ten. And you would expect that Oregon or whoever in the Big 12. You would expect in the SEC, you would expect Southern teams. Do you know that Stanford? I think Stanford is now in the ACC. I've been to Stanford University. I've actually been to the Hoover Institute. You can walk to the Pacific Ocean from there. I mean, it's a long walk, but you could walk it. If you're at the top of the Hoover Institution Tower, the bell tower there, you can see the Pacific Ocean. But they're in the Atlantic Coast Conference? The hell is going on here? So anyway, I thought we should talk about this. This is an interesting piece at Crisis Magazine today. Why the right now cancels its own. When we treat every uncomfortable query as morally suspect, we only imitate the reaction of the woke left, which treats disagreement, albeit incoherently, as intolerance. I do not concur with that finding. The guy makes a good point or two, but then I think he fails. And Scott Venture.
Wakanda.
Well, I don't know if it's Venturera or Venturera. Hey, can you ask your parents why they stuck the extra Y in there? In any event, you could just say Ventura or, for argument's sake, Wakanda. Some of the questions about people on the right are about the cult of personality. They don't have anything to do with being on the right. They would function equally as well and in the same mode
Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
Thousands of years ago, if you owned a book, you had to haul it home in a wagon, and you'd need your two oldest sons to carry it into the house. Then you'd need one family member who could read.
The story of Beowulf.
Another to hold the candle.
Hold it steady.
And another to turn the pages.
Not that close, you'll catch it on fire.
The good news for you is that was then and this is now. And now you have the Founders Trading Post store, where ordering, delivery, and reading your favorite books is literally a snap. Here's what's new this month.
The Power of the Rosary by Gabriel Castillo, a book that's more than informative, it's contagious.
This title and many other new releases are available alongside classics and favorites 24/7 at shopmikechurch.com. You can also shop using your app. Download and shop today at shopmikechurch.com/app.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. This report is brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. An installation is so easy. Just open up a browser on your device and go to crusadechannel.com/app. Tap the download button, then open the app. It's literally that easy. In the market report, the Dow was down 0.90% and the S&P dropped 0.53%. NASDAQ also fell 0.38%. In National Day calendar news today, we honored special educators on National Special Education Day. It's also National Day of Giving. That's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving because we've just spent the weekend shopping and searching for the best possible deals. Today, we are reminded to give to those in need. It's also World Trick Shot Day and National Mutt Day, and it's Fritter Day. Fritters come in various forms, from morsels dipped in flavorful batters to bits of dough stuffed or filled with delicious surprises. All of the varieties are deep fried, of course. Our quote of the day: to convert somebody, go and take them by the hand and guide them, St. Thomas Aquinas. And our saint of the day is Saint Bibiana. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, aka Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
The Mike Church Show, serving the hard liquor of truth to men who want to get drunk fast since 1992.
Whatever happened to Kenny Loggins, man? We need more Kenny Loggins here in this world. Mike Church Show here on the Crusade Channel. America's morning show, live talk and podcast radio the way it should be. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at mypillow.com/KingDude. There was a Cyber Monday sale yesterday. That is still going. So great Christmas sales on my pillows, my slippers, my towels, my sheets, everything that they have in the store. And if you spend, I believe it's $100 at mypillow.com, you get all kind of digital goodie extras. So maybe a great place to shop for some stocking stuffers there at mypillow.com/KingDude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/KingDude. Man, I was hugging my two My Pillows yesterday. I started enough of this boulder belly crap. You know, I should do a video log on this. Maybe I'll start one today. Little video update. You know, as you get older, certain things start happening to your body. Like Jimmy Buffett said before he died, this getting old crap ain't for sissies. One of the things that stopped working for me is metabolism. This is not a slide into an ad for something either. It's just me talking. Metabolism. And started to notice about a year or so ago, maybe a little longer, that no matter the amount of, it didn't matter. No matter the amount of food that I kept reducing it and looking at carbs, and we don't even eat American carbs anymore. It is Char and I. All of our carbs are heirloom wheat, either American or Italian. And not a lot, but struggle to minimize or to even to slow down the proverbial American, what did the guy call it? There was a book that was written. He didn't call it beer belly, he called it wheat belly. Wheat belly just became impossible. It wasn't working. So to the point where I started asking around, dude, you look trim and fit. What do you do? And I have several friends. I have a couple of friends that have just been like so seriously cutting the amount of the intake of their food that they're only eating like twice a day. And basically they're doing the intermittent fasting. They just don't call it that anymore. It's just their routine now. And they eat very little carbs, and they eat any at all. But the one thing that I was not doing, that I was told by several people, well, if you do this, I will guarantee you, now you may not lose a lot of weight, but you will cut inches. That Michelin man that's wrapped around my belly, the Dunlop man that I'm trying to get rid of, and that you got to do what they call resistance training. You basically you have to lift weights, and you can't just run. Cardio won't do it. So in any event, today's day 2, and I am quite the sore character. I didn't go out and buy a bunch of heavy weights. We just got a pulleys. It's not pulleys. It's stretch cords, right? Is that what they're called? Resistance bands. Resistance bands. Just got a resistance band set, and I started yesterday. I could barely walk today, but I forced myself to do the walk. So if you hear me complaining of aches and pains or moaning, it might not be buckshot. It might be me. In any event, it's a new phase cycle for me because I never did. Maybe when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I might have done some bodybuilding, just a little bit. I never did resistance or weightlifting. I didn't do it. I never got into the whole workout thing. A lot of people are really into it, and I can see why. Just on the second day of doing it, I'm going like, well, this is actually kind of cool. I actually feel better since I took the workout. Anyway, maybe I'll start making some brief videos on it. I mentioned it because time's coming up when everyone's going to pledge on January 1st. This is the year I'm going to get rid of the boulder belly. My experience is it's a lot harder than it looks. Of course, I could have taken the easy way out. I could have just said, can I get some Ozempic? Can you lose wheat bellies with Ozempic? But you also get Skeletor face, don't you? I don't want Skeletor face. I'm not doing it. All right. Just said I'd mention it. 844-527-8723. This story that I was sharing with you from crisismagazine.com. During the break, I tried to phonetically figure out how to pronounce this guy's name, and I still came up bupkis. Venture. Okay, you got me. Venture. YRA. Why did you add a YRA? Venture era. We're going to go with that. If not, Wakanda. The phrase woke right arrived almost overnight. Cultural critic James Lindsay helped popularize the term to describe a segment of the right that he says imitates the tactics of the woke left. It is quickly becoming a weapon used to silence anyone who questions Israeli or American foreign policy. Crisis Magazine editor Eric Sammons notes that those using it often act like the woke police themselves. Well, if you're going to talk about this, then you have to do full disclosure. American conservatism has been filled with frauds since I got into this business in the early 90s or started paying attention to what was going on around me. Neocons are not conservatives. They're not. Most of the other ones that are mildly neocons are not conservatives. Conservative. There is nothing conservative about assigning tens of thousands of dollars. It's even more than that. What is it? The current debt clock? What does it say, Maggie? Per taxpayer, not per citizen, per taxpayer. That's the key one.
Taxpayer, $329,000.
Thank you very much. She says $329,000. Can you? Thank you very. There it is. You can see it right there on your screen. $329,000 is the current debt per taxpayer. Now a little cheerance. I can't see it; it's too far away. What does it say for per citizen? $111,516. Of course, that will change during the course of the program. Unfortunately, that number is going to go up as I'm talking. Can someone explain to me what is conservative about passing on a debt of 100 and a debt commitment? You as an American citizen, you're committed to this. Article 1, Section 8 says the Congress can run up a debt. Doesn't say how much, doesn't say how little, doesn't say when they have to stop. There is no limit. It just says they have to run it up. If they can run it up, that means they are also, in a sane world, responsible for paying it off. You got to pay it off, just like you do. Can someone explain to me what is conservative about continuing any policy or policies that saddle a child that's born today with $111,516 in debt that they have to pay back? I have never understood how that is not a number that is large enough to cause an armed revolution and revolt. Well, GK, they don't actually have to pay it back. It's just, it's just kind of a way of like, oh no, they'll pay it back. They'll pay on it. This is why the income tax or the wage tax, which is illegal, immoral, and illicit system, won't be abolished. This is why Treasury debt will continue to be sold today. And your investments, did you know that? You people that have 401ks, I guess I'm guilty. I have a Roth IRA, that have IRAs or invested in mutual funds or what have you, even your pension funds are all buying. The safest bet that of things that they can invest in for the future is what? T-bills, United States Treasuries. Supposedly it's AAA bond rated. The U.S. government can't default. That means that little Johnny and little Susie that are born today are going to have to pay that back. There's something that is just inherently and innately wrong with that. Now, I'm gonna give you a small counter argument on that. Let's just say that there is an ongoing need for certain infrastructure and self-defense things that have to happen so that the Union can remain safe and strong and together, and then we can travel safely here and there and the other. Is it possible then, or even preferable, or acceptable, that in the course of discharging that duty, you can run up a very small debt, but one that is ephemerally, or annually rather, paid off? Fine, you're going to pay it off. Revenues, expenditures. If you're in business, you know this drill. If this one is here, give them both. If this one is here, you're making a profit. If this one is here, you're taking a loss and you're going to go out of business. Governments, of course, don't operate that way. Maybe that's a shame. Maybe they should. But before we even get to anything, any discussion of conservatism and who's on the right and who's not, if you're not infuriatingly opposed to the running up of any new debt, not that there's anything many of us can do about it. We vote, hope, and we cope. Well, Trump's going to get in there. I don't know. Doesn't look like he is. He says he's going to get to a balanced budget. I heard him say it half a dozen times since he has actually been in the White House. We got to get to balance. We got to balance the budget. We got to get to it. And look, maybe there's something in the offing that's not there. How is that conservative? So anyone that says, well, I'm on the right, I'm a conservative, okay? Can you define that for me? So when they start talking about this person that's on the right and this person that's on the right, I don't think very many people are actually on the right. As a matter of fact, if you were opposed to it and you go like, well, all of this is possible because of usury. Yep. Are you going to play the U card? I've actually heard Pope Leo XIV say the U word a couple of times. Maybe there's hope for the future here. Governments are not supposed to be formed for the detriment of the governed. That's straight out of Montesquieu. Well, why do we have one that seems like it is? Subject for another day here, but if we're going to start saying, well, these people that are on the right, are you talking about the media right or the actual right? Because I think that the two are separable. The media, superstar, celebrity right, and the actual right are there people that are working and doing everything they can in their daily lives and with all the force and energy they have to bring what I just described to an end. Yes, there are a lot of good people that are working at it. They're not having a lot of success right now, but it doesn't mean they're not trying. Those people are on the right. Someone that gets on television and talks into one of these, well, let me tell you how this is going to be, blah, 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 blah. I don't, just because they say right-leaning things, does that really make them, again, media right, real world right? This guy is primarily talking about media rights, which we shouldn't care about. Know what I mean? That we really shouldn't care about. Apparently we do. Care about more about the media right than we do the actual real world right. I think that that's a problem. Maybe that's just me. Back to the story from crisismagazine.com here on the Mike Church Show, America's Morning Show. Crusade Channel gift cards are on the homepage of the Crusade Channel. I bought one myself last night. All right, this is like the third one I bought because I keep going like, okay, certain individuals, and I have certain of you listeners and regular chatters in my mind. I'm actually thinking of you. If insert name here, who can screw up anything that has anything to do with a digital processor and a keyboard. If such and such went here and tried to buy this, how could it get screwed up? How could they mess it up? And then have to call Melissa crying or in anger going, it didn't work, it's not my fault. These gift cards work and they're easy. $20 for a 3-month, $50 for a 1 year. So you can save 60% or 70%. Take your pick. The 1 year deal, a 1 year membership is $184 now, or $185. Dude, $150, that is a steal. And I think it gives whoever you give it to, it gives them plenty of time to get used to listening to the channel. They'll download the app and all the great stuff. It's so easy. It's on the homepage, top of crusadechannel.com. You'll see my ugly smiling face there, holding the gift cards up. Tap that, and less than a minute to check out. And if you want to deliver it on Christmas Eve, have it delivered on Christmas Eve. You want to print it out, you can print it out. Well, are you doing a side-by-side? And go back to it. Go back to it. Which one's live and which one's Member X? Katie. You don't have to go looking for it. It's on the homepage, crusadechannel.com. It's at the top of the page. But if you want to go directly to it, crusadechannel.com/card. I think we should set a modest goal of 100. It should be easily obtainable. Anyway, Lindsay argues that a similar pattern has emerged on parts of the right. He points to groypers and white identitarians. Do you know what a white identitarian is? I don't. Who imitate the left's tactics through inverted identity politics and online transgression, the posture they call based often amounts, in his view, to boundary pushing for its own sake. A similar defiance that mirrors the woke left's obsession with taboo breaking. Lindsay's not wrong. Some young men on the right have slid from dark humor to outright hostility. They swarm critics online, demand ideological purity, and treat any challenge to their idols as betrayal. Again, media conservative, practical conservative. Is it possible to be both? Some people try. Do I succeed? I don't know. You be the judge. Lindsay's analysis becomes especially valuable in his distinction between types of speech about Israel and Jews. By the way, the fact that that's what the conversation is all about tells me that the enemy is behind it. That the real enemy of man, which is Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Bagul, Baphomet, and the boys, that's who's behind all this. A Christian who has knowledge of and honors the tradition and teachings of Christendom, that is Catholicism, has no problem defining what Israel is if you're talking about the New Testament and the Bible. And it's not a country. It's not a geography. It's not. You don't have any problem with that. You also don't have any problem with Jews. I don't have any problem with Jews. Why do you? Well, they do this and they do that. Well, you know, so do Italians. The enemy is behind this. This is something that, and I think there was a little bit of this in Christendom, certainly in Spain, in the reign of Isabella and Ferdinand. You'll have to read up on that. But by and large, no, that was not a part of Christendom. Were there people that practiced it? And were they like real anti-Semites? I mean, like real anti-Jewish people? Yeah, there were. And the church has always taught against that. So I don't think you have if you're actually practicing the ancien regime religion of Christendom, I don't think you have a problem with any of this. Anti-Israel criticism, he notes, is legitimate since everybody should be critical of every state. While anti-Jew refers to personal prejudice. Only the conspiratorial claim that the Jews control everything, as he puts it, belongs under the label anti-Semitism. Well, why is that anti-Semitism? Again, we have a bad definition of what a Semite is. Just because someone lives in the geographical area that is Israel does not necessarily make them a descendant of Shem and a Semite. Wait, oh, no, it's TKD. They're citizens of this, and you say anything opposed to them, well, that makes you an anti-Semite. I don't think that is, as a matter of fact, I know that that's not correct. Still, Lindsay's framework is not without its problems. He often speaks as though certain questions are suspicious by definition, as if asking about Israeli policy, lobbying networks, or foreign entanglements somehow puts a person on the road to Nazi thinking. That kind of reaction mistakes honest, prudential concerns for something sinister that is simply not there. People ask hard questions for various reasons. When we treat every uncomfortable query as morally suspect, we only imitate the reaction of the woke left, which treats disagreement, albeit incoherently, as intolerance. Ironically, refusing to engage reasonable concerns is what drives some people toward true extremists who promise to discuss the forbidden subjects without fear. Nick Fuentes. Now, we hear this in our circles here on the Crusade Channel and the Mike Church Show all the time. Why do you listen to this channel? Why do you listen? Because they only give me the truth. We only give you our pursuit of the truth. There are plenty of people that think that if they would only go further and do this, that even that's not good enough. I think that if you have to, if there's this ginormous veil that covers all of reality, and if it is the success of the enemy then, and has placed the veil there, and has deprived, most people don't know what's really going on, as they'll say in their own circles there. I'd say then that the enemy is far better at what he does than we have given him credit for. Because grace also abounds in this world. And one of the things that you get out of grace is truth. You can't be running around constantly saying that the truth is not there and it's hidden, and you're the only one that's pursuing a pursuit of it, and you're trying only certain people get to it. How can people that operate outside of grace actually get to the real truth? What's the truth? Well, you should seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things in his justice will be added unto you. That's the truth. What's the truth? What did our Lord tell Pilate? What is truth? I am the way. I am the truth. What is truth? We should all be striving to live under the kingship of our Lord Jesus Christ as our ancestors did in Christendom. That's the truth. Why? How did a veil get blown over top of that? We'll be right back.
Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
Fun. Yes, we've had our ups and downs, been down that rocky road, but here we are still around. We thought about someone else, but neither one took the bait. We thought about breaking up, now we know it's much too late. We are bound by all the rest, like the same phone number, all the same friends, and the same address. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. I am happy to be stuck with you. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. I'm so happy to be stuck with you, 'cause I can see that you're happy to be stuck with me. We've had our doubts, we never.
For 9 years now, Brother Andre Marie's Reconquest has been your source for best in Catholic philosophy, history, and saints.
Well, I'm the new gal at this monastery, and Jiminy Christmas, after 4 years of auto pen, social media heresy, I could use some Catholic philosophy.
Well, call yourself a blessed girl, because new episodes debut Wednesdays at 8 Central, and there's over 475 podcasts available on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on CrusadeChannel.com. Live talk and educational radio,
the way it should be.
Hey folks, it's Mike Church, producer of the Shakespeare Radio Film Festival, announcing that we're offering the entire festival, including Joseph Pierce's commentaries, for just $19.95. That's a 50% discount. This exclusive download will include over 16 hours of festival content. To reserve your Shakespeare Radio Film Festival download at an incredible 50% off, go to CrusadeChannel.com/Hamlet.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
This is Capcom. We are ready to go for launch at the Crusade Channel launch site.
New show lineup.
Go.
Broadcasting live on X, YouTube, and Rumble.
We're go, Flat.
Breaking news updates.
Go.
The Mike Church Show Band.
We're go.
We're go for launch for the Crusade Channel 4.0 mothership.
2, 1, lift off.
On August 4th, the Crusade Channel launched Crusade Channel 4.0, the mothership. And now you can see why everyone else is lost in space.
Back in the 90s, there was this thing called the cigar boom, where everyone was buying and smoking handmade cigars. But here's the thing. The popular cigars then were the best-made cigars, like Fuente, Joya de Monterrey, and Avo. Over the next 10 years, craftsmanship was replaced by gimmick and slick packaging, and that's when I decided to get in the business and launched El Rey Dude Corona cigars. 20 years later, I launched Mancipio Maria cigars, with that same principle in mind. Make a great handmade cigar, and that's exactly what we do in 4 sizes. I invite you to try a 4-pack sampler of my Mancipia Maria cigars and taste them for yourself in smooth, natural, or bold Maduro wrappers. And to sweeten the deal, I've discounted them 25% for a limited time. And as always, we include a personal humidifier with every order. To order, go to shop.mikechurch.com. Order $50 or more, and shipping is on me. Try my Mancipia Maria cigars today at shop.mikechurch.com. Hey, Jim. Remember when we used to be like Joe Walsh?
I'm making records, my fans, they can't wait.
Now we just talk about making hit records. Well, parody versions of hit records.
Join the KingDude and Jim Mosier as they pick apart the greatest parody songs of all time and the hits they were based on. It's Album Autopsy, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be, and doesn't disappoint your mother.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guarantee of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mychurch.com.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, aka Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that.
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See, it's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
Thousands of years ago, if you owned a book, you had to haul it home in a wagon, and you'd need your 2 oldest sons to carry it into the house. Then you'd need one family member who could read.
The story of Beowulf.
Another to hold the candle.
Hold it steady.
And another to turn the pages.
Not that close, you'll catch it on fire.
The good news for you is that was then and this is now. And now you have the Founders Trading Post store, where ordering, delivery, and reading your favorite books is literally a snap. Here's what's new this month.
The Transhumanist Temptation, How Technology and Ideology Are Reshaping Humanity and How to Resist by Grayson Quay.
This title and many other new releases are available alongside classics and favorites 24/7 at shopmikechurch.com. You can also shop using your app. Download and shop today at shopmikechurch.com/app.
I need something to listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this Boats, Beaches, Bars, and Ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
My church show wanted to choose a special term for the loyal and erudite members of our audience. But dude was already taken.
Dude.
So we picked Veritas instead. Hey, Cosgrove, Veritas meets to solve the world's problems every morning with the KingDude. Will you be there?
It's a deal.
The Mike Church Show, heard exclusively on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Last night a little dancer came dancing to my door. Last night a little angel came pumping on the floor. She said, come baby, got a license for love. And if it expires, pray help from above. Because in the midnight hour, she cried more.
Here's a headline at the Epic Times. FDA internal memo links child deaths to COVID-19 vaccination. No. Surely you jest. No, I don't jest. And don't call me Shirley. The memo stated that some children died following vaccination and false cultural and systemic failures that left early safety signals unexamined for years. What the hell does that even mean? Can someone explain what is a early safety signal? Because I do not know. What's an early safety signal? He's 3 months old. Oh! Yeah, I think he's a prime candidate for the Wu flu. Let's make it mandatory. You know that these creeps advocated for forced, mandatory, death jab, corona, hoax, Pfizer, goo, Franken shot injections of children. I guess I'm the only one that remembers. Remember, during the spring, summer, fall, and then the following spring, and then all the way for at least 2 years afterwards when boosters were still forthcoming, that children were dropping dead at sporting events of myocarditis, heart failure. Am I the only one that remembers? What's the guy's name for the Buffalo Bills? What was his name? Damar Hamlin. Am I the only one that remembers that Monday Night Football, that a Monday Night Football game in late December of 2022 was brought to a halt because Buffalo Bills defensive back or cornerback Damar Hamlin, he didn't even hit the guy, just boom, coded out on the field. They tried CPR for 6 minutes. The dude died. Stopped the game. They canceled the rest of it. It was a big hoop-de-doo. The Buffalo Bills would never release who on their roster got jabbed. So you know that he did. Hamlin, for his part, must have been told, dude, if you say that you got jabbed, if you ever go out and talk about that the death jab was the reason why you coded out on the field, your life and your family's life is over. Anyway, I saw this headline from Rob Schneider about it. Thought I would touch on it. This portion of the program brought to you by the Founders Trading Post Store. Folks, all the gift sets, hand-chosen and designed by Maggie O'Connell and yours truly, are now available. I especially like the new tea set. Can you tell the people that like tea what's in the tea set? You got a little teapot, right? I'm a little teapot, short and stout. You get a little teapot. You get bags of tea.
Yes, you get a 5-pack sampler of tea, all saints' names, and it's called Sacred Heart Tea. It's a Catholic company. And you also get a tea and cakes book with the saints. So it's tea and cakes with the saints.
It's cool. It's really cool. And you get your little kettle, and it's a great, talk about a great little gift set, especially for people like Reagan, like our daughter, who is a tea fanatic. And look, if you're working on trying to bring someone back into the Catholic fold, what a great gift. Oh, hey, who's Saint Lucia? There's a Saint Lucy tea, there's a Saint Therese tea, Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Gianna, Saint Monica, Saint Therese, and Saint Hildegard. So it's really, really cool. It's eye-appealing. It's catchy. Whoever you give it to is going to love it. So that's just one of the gift sets available now at shop.mikechurch.com on the homepage. We put them all together for you folks. And folks, if you can't decide what to give someone in the Founders Trading Post store, never fear this year. The Founders Trading Post gift card is in any amount. And this is the one that I rigorously tested myself to make sure that certain individuals who are in the chat room right now, I'm thinking of you, can't screw it up. There's no way. It's impossible. So, give the gift, the Founders Trading Post store in any amount. You want to give $10, give 10. You want to give 100, give 100. You want to give $34.76, like some of you like odd numbers, put that amount in, and then you'll get emailed the receipt and the code. The really cool thing is now it's part of the checkout process at shop.mikechurch.com. There's no you don't have to click a box saying I got it. It asks you in the checkout process, do you have a gift card code? If you do, if you're lucky enough, put the code in and bammo, it takes it right off. And again, we rigorously tested it. It's really cool. I feel like an idiot that I didn't make this deal with these people years ago. But it's there along with the Coffee Lovers pack. You get a bag of Abbey Roast Christmas blend, which is really good this year. It's already ground, by the way. We didn't order any whole bean in case you give it as a gift to somebody that doesn't have a blender or a grinder. You get a Crusade Channel, one of these babies. This is a beautiful Stein / coffee mug. I've been using it every day for 2 years. I love this thing. You get one of those. You get a little scoop for the coffee. You get a bag of Capuchin Holy Roast, all for one low price. Anyone that loves coffee is going to love that pack. There are 4 other gift packs. Check them out today. And again, if you can't decide, but you want to support the Crusade Channel and the Mike Church Show and Reconquest and all of us here, give a gift card. Everybody loves getting gift cards. Shop.mikechurch.com. Let's do some digital media files. Well, I saw there was a conversation going on. Hold on, let me go back to this real quick. Hang on. Hold on. Billy Payne put this in the chat room. I was talking about anti-Semitism in the last hour. This is a billboard on Billy, is this on did you say I-75? Just curious. I want to make sure I get it right. He said interstate, so where he lives in Florida, it's probably I-75 or 95. We're just 75 years since the gas chambers, so no, a billboard calling out Jew hate isn't an overreaction. Brought to you by JewBelong.com. Where is all this anti-Semitism I keep hearing about? Fox News seems to think that if you pick a dead cat up and you swing it by the tail, oh, look, my neighbor, anti-Semite. Where are all these anti-Semites? It's not a thing. They're making it out to be a thing. Why? Because the rope that they have on that's attached to your wallet and attached to state power of the United States, well, some sneaky bastard is pouring a little 3-in-1 oil on it, and it's starting to get in between the rope and your hand. And you're starting to slip. You're going, hey, wait a minute. Why? We're like, here, what's the number from earlier, Maggie? Every American citizen is $111,516 in debt. I don't care what's happening in Germany, and I don't care what's happening in Israel, and I don't care what's happening in Saudi Arabia or Japan or South Korea or Nigeria. And when I say I don't care, I'm not paying for it. I got enough problems right here in the United States of America, in Madisonville, Louisiana, to deal with. I have enough problems with my government to deal with. I have enough problems with my church to deal with. And if you went to Thanksgiving dinner, you know you have enough problems with your family to deal with. I can't take care of your familial problems in another country. Sorry, thanks for playing our game. Good luck. We don't care. I said it yesterday, but I keep saying it. Fix America so that we are profitable and wealthy again. We will share that wealth. We're good Christian people. There will be missionaries that will go to all places all around the world. We got to fix us. So we have largesse to help the rest of the world. Just reading from our Crusader Stadium chat room. 54 chatters in a 7 a.m. hour on a Tuesday. Not acceptable. Where are our peeps? Ammo Matt, not one in my community. Main man Jeff, I don't know one. Who else is commenting on the list? Scrolling up and looking to see. You'd have to be in the chat room to place your comment. So crusadechannel.com/chat. Clark, since Christ was and is a literal Semite, we need to reevaluate exactly who is anti-Semitic. I don't even want to waste any more time talking about this. It's a fictitious hobgoblin that's been made up for a specific purpose, and you all know what the specific purpose is. And we're not going to buy into it. So let's move on. Here's something interesting that we could talk about. Play digital media file number 2. This is Elon talking about Doge. Wait a minute, I thought Doge was over.
What did Doge teach you if you learned one thing?
Well, it was like a very interesting side quest, because I just got to see like a lot of the workings of the government. There's been quite a few efficiencies. I mean, some of them are very basic efficiencies, like just adding in requirements for federal payments that any given payment must have an assigned congressional payment code and a comment field with something in it that's more than nothing. Like that trivial seeming change, my guess is probably saves $100 billion or even $200 billion a year. Because there were the massive numbers of payments that were going out with no congressional payment code and with nothing in the comment field, which makes auditing the payments impossible. So if you have to say, like, why can the Defense Department or now the Department of War, why can it not pass an audit? It's because the information is not there. It doesn't have the information necessary to pass an audit does not exist, is the issue. So, so a bunch of things Doge did were just very common sense things that would be normal for any organization that cared about financial responsibility. That's most of what was done. And it's still going on, by the way. Doge is still happening.
No, it's not. Stop the tape.
It turns out when you
stop the tape. Liar, liar, pants on fire. No, it's not. No, it's not. I have it on good authority. CrusadeChannel.com/chat is dead. Trump killed it. I killed it and I ate it like it was a quarter pounder with cheese. It was delicious. Get out, Elon. Get your Doge out of here. It's over. It's over. All of it is over. You know, when he said that, when I was watching that earlier, I went, wait a minute. 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 I think it is a monumental milestone that you actually had a project that identified, I know that the goal was $2 trillion, but, you know, a couple $100 billion here, a couple $100 billion there. That's not chump change. They did identify a couple $100 billion. How much was that? A couple $100 billion, and seemingly got rid of it. Now, again, what has Congress done to codify that into the law? We all know the drill, and they haven't done much of anything. But it was interesting to hear that, wait a minute, Doge is still going on. You know, I think that really, like, Doge is spring cleaning. Except the spring cleaning has filled your house up with mold. And you're breathing it in. If you don't get rid of it, you're going to die. She's looking around our house these days and going, I think there needs to be a winter cleaning here. Things just metastasize. How is it that you have a government that's so large, or an entity that's so large, that it doesn't even know that it's wasting hundreds of billions of dollars? Now, there may be people that do know and go like, well, you know, my cousin Vinny's getting a little share of that. That's the problem. We're trying to solve other people's problems using government. It never works. You just create the problem never goes away, and if it does, no one ever admits it. And it's always well, we didn't fund it enough last time. It's the most wretched, sinister, cyclical thing that we ought to all be able to agree, let's do away with it. But we's not men of Christendom anymore, yo. We's men's America now. I want to talk about Mark Kelly and don't give up the coup. I said this 2 weeks ago when they started this. I said it last week, and I will say it again this week, and I'll say it again tomorrow. If the Trump administration does not move to squash this, and I mean squash it, lead Kelly and Slotkin off, and the rest of them, in handcuffs for interrogations. Tell Johnson in the House, you got to get that guy out. Get him out. Kick him out. He is a seditious, illegal, America-hating fool, and he doesn't need to be in the House of Representatives. Kick him out. You need to tell John Thune, dude, you got to get rid of Slotkin and Kelly. Tell him, I'm revoking your committee assignments. You're both on committees. You're done. You're not on any committee. I am also revoking your security clearances. Yeah, but Chico, dude, I just said ruin them. Make it so that the little contingent of people that still say, hey, Mark Kelly, well, you go right on ahead and love Mark Kelly. All the way to his court-martial. I mean, listen to this. I'm not going to come out and say it, but, I think the president gets to make his own appointments for Secretary of War. You know, Mark Kelly, I must have missed when you were running around and giving interviews to anyone that would listen to you, when there was a female impersonator who claimed, in a general's uniform, who claimed to be the Secretary of Health and Human, the Undersecretary of Health and Human Services. I must have missed that. I must have missed you complaining that someone who was mentally deranged and unqualified for a job, as Dick Levine, not Rachel, Dick Levine was. I must have missed that. I'm sure you did it, and I'm sure you said it. Oh, but now, well, you know what? Pete Hegseth has a Purple Heart. Do you? Oh! Pete Hegseth has battle commendations. Captain Kelly, do you? I wonder what the men, you know what? This is a swift boat moment here. I wonder what the men that served under Captain Kelly have to say about Captain Kelly today. So here he is yesterday, well, droning on. You know, if you play number 4, that's all about Hegseth. Number 5 is the one where he says, don't give up the coup, basically. Well, we don't know. The fact is, we don't know what happened here. The law of the sea treaty. I bet you don't even know what's in the law of the sea treaty these days.
Folks in the military need to understand, the law of the sea, the Geneva Conventions, what the law says. And I'm concerned that if there were, in fact, as reported, survivors clinging to a damaged vessel, that could be, over a line. I hope it's not the case.
No, you don't.
I truly do.
No, you don't.
Did Admiral Bradley resisted that order? Again, I am, not sure of all the facts yet.
Well, then why are you talking about it?
Before we have all the information. I think it's important for there to be an investigation. The Inspectors General of DOD needs to investigate this. Unfortunately, an unqualified Secretary of Defense fired a bunch of them and got rid of a bunch of lawyers, folks in the military.
Because these precious lawyers of ours, they're the ones that were the backbone of our military. You just set the whole thing up. Don't give up the coup. Well, I don't know, and I don't know this, and unfortunately, and I can't speculate on that. You just did. Our members of the military need to understand. They need to know that there's a thing called the law, and you, hey, Captain, you're a captain in the United States Navy. Your party was in charge for 12 out of the last 16 years. Did you ever pitch a bitch about sailors being sworn into the United States Navy and not knowing what the law of the sea treaty is? I'm sorry. I'm not playing this game with these freaking fools. And neither should Trump. President Trump should not be playing this game. Are you insinuating that the United States Navy and the United States Naval Academies do not sufficiently train America's seamen to know what the law of the sea treaty is?
I was just going to say, and he also, you always say Democrats, even when they lose, they still win. Well, he also set up the fact that if the investigation doesn't go their way, there's incompetent people that Pete Hegseth put in position, so even their investigation is flawed.
That's right. He already gave the excuse in the beginning. And if we're not able to root this out to the Inspector General, now that's because little boy, 12-year-old Hegseth fired all the good people that were in our military that were attorneys. All the good people that were attorneys that were in our military. Did you just really say that? I am no fan of a standing army. I don't think we should have one. As a matter of fact, I demand of my congressmen or senators when I talk to them in the standing army. Bring it to an end. Well, we can't do that because we have these enemies. Stop making enemies then. Stop making enemies. You can mobilize the National Guard in 72 hours. You have to have our military is made up of attorneys? And all the good men and women that were attorneys. And women?
You know, what I miss about the good old days before social media and AI ruined everything?
Let me guess. No fat people outside of the circus. And Ozempic was the name of the demon in C.S. Lewis story, right?
Well, yeah. But besides that, classic radio shows with actors and actual stories.
Well, lucky for the human race, the Crusade Channel is rolling over 900 episodes of a show called Suspense.
Tweak your mystery-solving muscles over lunch and catch episodes of Suspense, weekdays noon till 2 on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and classic radio the way it should be.
I like my version of suspense. Hey!
Doesn't work without me.
Thousands of years ago, if you owned a book, you had to haul it home in a wagon, and you'd need your 2 oldest sons to carry it into the house. Then you'd need one family member who could read.
The story of Beowulf.
Another to hold the candle.
Hold it steady.
And another to turn the pages.
Not that close, you'll catch it on fire.
The good news for you is that was then and this is now. And now you have the Founders Trading Post store, where ordering, delivery, and reading your favorite books is literally a snap. Here's what's new this month.
A Gentleman's Guide to Manners, Sex, and Ruling the World. How to Survive as a Man in the Age of Misandry by S.K. Baskerville.
This title and many other new releases are available alongside classics and favorites 24/7 at shopmikechurch.com. You can also shop using your app. Download and shop today at shopmikechurch.com/app.
The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Filomena with your Saint of the Day. December 2nd, Saint Vivian, or Bibiana, was martyred in the year 363. Saint Vivian was an heroic Roman girl, the daughter of a father and mother who were saints. Her sister was also a saint. All four of this family were martyred for the Catholic faith. Her father, Saint Flavian, has his feast on December 22nd. Her sister, Saint Demetria, has her feast on June 21st. And Saint Defrosa, the mother of Saint Vivian, has her feast on January 4th. And Saint Defrosa, the mother of Saint Vivian, has her feast day on January 4th. This is how this holy little family is scattered through the year in liturgical love. It was Julian the Apostate in 363 who martyred Saint Vivian. He could not induce her to give up either her faith or her chastity, even though she was tied to a pillar and scourged with metal ropes. When she died, her body was thrown to the dogs. A Catholic priest rescued it. There is a great church dedicated to Saint Vivian, Saint Bibiana, in Rome. Her mother and sister are buried with her. Saint Vivian is the patroness of the Diocese of Los Angeles in the United States of America. Saint Bibiana, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the life of today's saint. Tomorrow's saint is Saint Jason and Saint Francis Xavier. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Maria Filomena, and until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
Do you hear that, Maggie?
Do I hear what?
You don't hear the sound of bees buzzing about?
No, I see the result of that buzzing about and these beautiful new beeswax candles.
We sell candles now?
Not just any candles. These are handmade beeswax candles.
Well, that explains me imagining bees.
And they come in different sizes. There's a votive, a 3-day, and a 7-day size too.
Well, that should start a buzz in the store.
It better, or you'll get the buzz.
Order handmade beeswax candles today while supplies last at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, aka Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
They sent me home, I served my time. My swift boat ran over a Vietcong mine. I displayed my medals at www.johnkerry. So you'd see I'm a war hero and you should elect me. You should elect me. I tied a purple ribbon round my wounded knee for those 4 long months in the DMZ. If I didn't have this purple ribbon round my Shrapnel in my butt wouldn't be a fuss. Blame those damn Swifties. I tied a purple ribbon round my wounded knee. They say I lie and I lean left, but my partner Johnny thinks that I'm the best. When we campaign for president, our platform is so divine. But if this crowd don't buy it, at the next I'll change my mind. Flip-flop and change my mind. I got these purple ribbons for my wounded knee. For those 4 long months, I faked my injuries. If I didn't have this purple ribbon for my wounded knee, shrapnel in my butt wouldn't be a fuss. Blame those damn Swifties. I've got these purple ribbons for my wounded knee.
Messing around with jerks. My car is parked outside. I'm afraid it doesn't work. I'm looking for a partner, someone who gets things fixed. Ask yourself this question: do you want to be rich? I've got the brains.
You got the balls. Let's make love. Sound like a good idea to me. Performing this show with 100% of my Yuletide spirit tied behind my back just to make it fair. A sea of Scrooges and Grinches out there. Mike Church Show stands a post. Here on the Crusade Channel, Live Talk Radio, the way it should be, America's morning show. This portion of the program brought to you by the Founders Trading Post Store gift cards. Giving the gift to the Crusade Channel store. You can give Beast and Butt Rub. You can give my cigars. You can give new cooking with the KingDude aprons. You can give a gift set. You can give it all easily. We'll ship it to anyone, anywhere. Just change the shipping address. But if you're not sure that you're going like, by gum, KingDude, I love the Founders Trading Post Store, I'm just going to give $50 gift cards. You can do that now this year, too. So simple, so easy, and on the homepage now, crusadechannel.com just on the homepage, you can get the Founders Pass membership cards. And if you're looking for the Founders Trading Post cards, go to shop.mikechurch.com. There's also an email newsletter that went out last night. The Crusader newsletter that went out last night has all of that in it, including the gift card link. And it works. It works easily and swimmingly, and it's just like giving a real gift card. So check it out today and shop with us this Christmas. Shop.mikechurch.com. Now you have Hyena Hakeem piling on these are war crimes. So we've now gone from there's a report that there was a second strike. By the way, I'm not a lawyer. I only play one on the radio. I'm also not a military commander, but I do know this. The order that was given said it was to be, and it has to be, and these strikes were to be, lethal kinetic strikes. Lethal kinetic strikes. I've actually seen the legal explanation for boatloads of federal money, boatloads that are filled with fentanyl that are on the way to kill American citizens and to poison those that they don't kill. The money is going to be taken and will be funneled back to a cartel, or in some cases back to the government of Venezuela in this instance here, where there is nefarious warlike activity that is going on. If the President of the United States determines that there is a threat, a viable threat, and identifies said viable threat, then the authority to use lethal force is granted. You either have borders and beaches that you can protect or you don't. The idea, or just the thought, that there are boatloads of fentanyl, or whatever the drug may be, that are basically being identified by intelligence, and then like, okay, what are you supposed to do? Drop little parachutes on them with nice little request notes. Please turn around. Would you please turn around, please? If we drop some with some Heath bars in it, will that make you turn? Look, we'll up the ante. We'll give you $1 million bars. What exactly are you supposed to do here? You know, governing is a nasty business from time to time. I don't want to do it. And I don't want to be the guy that goes, like, he's saying they're coming here with lethal ordnance. Fentanyl is lethal ordnance. You know that if you stumbled upon a fentanyl package and it say spilled out on the table where someone's going, this is fentanyl, it's in a bag, and they accidentally ripped that bag open, if you touched it, you don't have to ingest it. If you touched it, depending on how strong it is, you can actually get a lethal dose. That's why cops, when paramedics, when they are called to the scene of someone they think is doing a fentanyl overdose, dude, they're in hazmat suits, some of them, because they know if they come in contact with it, it's that deadly. So what exactly is not clear about a kinetic lethal strike? Yeah, but if someone survived and they were swimming around in the water, I have not seen the tape evidence that says that someone survived and that someone was swimming around in the water. If it is determined that to carry out the lethal part of the act requires more than one piece of ordnance, well, then that's what it requires. If you're going for lethality, the image here is that Gilligan and the skipper and Mary Ann are floating around, bobbing in the water, with the life preserver from the SS Minnow being held in the air. Please help us to bomb us. And the evil Trump guys come along and incinerate them with some sort of incendiary bomb on the water. I don't believe that's what happened, according to what I have read. As a matter of fact, in the reports that the New York Times, there's actually a story at the New York Times, if you want to know. I read it earlier, parts of it. And look, it is not friendly to Trump. The people that wrote the article obviously hate him and think this is a terrible, wretched operation, but they don't want to get CBS, ABC News sued. Hexeth ordered a lethal attack, but not the killing of survivors, official say. Hexeth didn't order anything. What power does Pete Hexeth have? Department of Defense, Department of War is not in the U.S. Constitution. Executive president is. That's a power that belongs to Trump. Trump has said, he was asked about this, can't we just drop little parachutes of gummy bears and candy with sweet notes inside, Valentine notes, and ask them to please turn around and go back to your homeland and make Venezuela great again? Can't we just ask them nicely? As Trump said, he was asked about this about a month ago or so. Tried that. We've been trying that for decades. It doesn't work. Changing policy. They need to know. You sail a boat. You got a boat that's headed for the United States, loaded down with lethal doses of illicit drugs. You will be bombed. Amid talk of war crimes, the details of precise sequence of a September the 2nd attack on a boat in the Caribbean are facing intensifying scrutiny. Nothing burger. This is Russia hoax. This is a Mueller investigation. This is Shampeachment 1, Shampeachment 2. Nothing is going to become of this. The military was tasked with a job by the President of the United States. They carried it out. That's what happened. And now you have it. Okay, here. No, Mike, this is what really happened. Play number 7. Hakeem Jeffries. Yep. Oh, you should play 6, too, because Republicans will face retribution. Retribution. So now here you are again. Who is the violent party? You guys keep saying retribution. You mean like building prison camps and shipping us off to them because we voted for Trump, or we used a radio show and said, well, no, I support that policy. What kind of retribution? This is the language of violence. And this is the language of, you know what? When we get power back, you guys are going to get it. He says it. He doesn't imply it. He says it.
The one thing that should be clear to all of these Republican extremists and sycophants and the people who are either actively involved in corruption, violating the law, engaged in extrajudicial activity, is that the statute of limitations for any crimes being committed now is 5 years. It will extend well beyond the end of the Trump administration.
The statute of limitations will extend 5 years. Trump administration will not outlive it. We're taking back the Senate, the House, and the White House in 2028. And when we do, you're all going to get it. Is that a campaign promise? You're running to incarcerate the opponent. You know, ladies and gentlemen, all rhetorical flourishes aside, is there anyone out there that really thinks that the idea of shared anything here in these United States actually applies to these people anymore, to members of the Democrat Party, especially the hierarchy? Does anyone really believe that there's anything left to salvage here? Cannot we just proceed to an orderly divorce? Hakeem, you take you and your gang of murderers, and by the way, if you want to talk about we must preserve life here, we have to be defenders of life, we have laws. We have laws. We used to have laws on the books against killing babies. You remember that? Remember that a good Christian people used to not murder their soon-to-be born and the next generation in the womb? That instead we chose to bring them to life and to raise them as Americans? Not anymore. The party that advocates the killing and the murder of the soon-to-be-born, the contracepting away of the soon-to-be-born, the homosexualizing of those that escape the womb, then the transgenderizing and the mutilation of those that escape the womb, and all of the other things that go along with it, you don't have the right and you do not have the authority to speak on behalf of matters of life. So in your little paradise, where we rebuild the temples of New Tenoch Telan, hey, Hakeem, man, you go right on ahead and do that. And Hakeem is assured that the White House is lying. There's nothing to find in common with these people today. I don't know why we continue this exercise. Well, you know, we can take Solomon and we can split the baby down the middle. Well, you might remember that the woman that was actually the mother of the child went, no. She can have the kid out of love of her child, her actual child, in humility. She went, no, my life's not worth it. You take the kid. Who is going to play Solomon? And if you did the if you did a Solomonic thing and you held the baby up and Democrats were the ones that you were talking to, when any of them said, hey, no, don't kill the baby. No, you can have it. Yeah, play the next one. You played the first one. You might as well continue.
Against them. The White House is lying, but that's no surprise because they lie for a living, and the American people know it. It's my understanding that Pete Hegseth, the so-called Secretary of Defense, was absolutely involved. I think he may have even recently acknowledged that because the facts are incapable of being disputed. And so the question
give me one. Can you give me
there will
one?
be bipartisan investigations in both the House and in the Senate in order to determine whether war crimes were committed and either U.S. law or international law or both were violated.
And war crimes are never committed when
it's
Biden...
already been crystal...
Right. Enough. You want to talk about war crimes and about killing, and I'm taking our word, and Pete Hegseth, who shouldn't even be Secretary of Defense. Can you tell us who should? Who should? Who was the guy who he was so lamentably bad? Who was the guy that was Biden's secretary? I don't even remember. Do you remember who it was? I just remember Alejandro Mayorkas, who ought to be buried underneath a jail in Leavenworth. All right. Let's talk about happy times. Digital media file number 9. And by the by, yeah, it says happy times. I have not seen a single, even the Washington Post story, I have not seen a single surveillance footage showing that Marianne, Skipper, and Gilligan were swimming away from the SS Venezuela, and Hegseth ordered them shot in the head.
I'm just wondering why this is considered an international crime or something like that. When Obama drone striked people and innocent people were killed, they were just called collateral damage. Why aren't these two guys just collateral damage?
Okay, good point. The teenage boys that were at the 13-year-old birthday party of the son of Anwar al-Awlaki, 7 of those boys were killed that day. What was that? Where was the war crimes investigation? Yeah, but they weren't trying to get away from the birthday cake when it exploded. Oh, so if one of them would have survived with their legs blown off and it was crawling away from the scene and we struck him in, now that we can't tolerate. What about the infamous wedding in Afghanistan where there was a drone strike that was called in on a wedding party? This is okayed by George, War on Terror. War on Terror, George Bush and his Darth Vader vice president. You remember this? They're like, sir, are we sure that the member of Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda is in the actual wedding party? Yes, we're sure that he's there. And how many people are going to be? Well, depending on what size of the bomb, we have to take the whole compound out because we don't know what room he's going to be in. The United States military, during the Bush administration, blew to kingdom come the entirety of a village in Afghanistan because they said a terrorist was there. How many innocent people? I don't want to hear this. I'm glad that we've suddenly grown a conscience. I hope it sticks. I really do. Here, let's talk about happy times and what's going on in Ireland. Oh, me Irish lasses. Oh, me Irish lads. Maybe the men of the United States should start talking like this.
To the people of Newry, Mourne and Down, we, the New Republican Movement, have watched their councillors and MLAs over the past 12 months. The level of disrespect shown to the people who put you into power, this cannot be ignored any longer. We are proud men of Ireland. We are patriots. Your policies and decision-making in regards to flooding our communities with undocumented military-aged men is not acceptable. We will not sit back any longer and watch our culture and religion destroyed by the people we put in power. Also, the sexual indoctrination of our children in schools has not went unnoticed either. The New Republican Movement will take immediate action against anyone who threatens our ways of life and the safety of our women and children. We have your addresses and known your movements. Every one of you are legitimate targets as of today. The New Republican Movement, the 28th of 11/25.
We know who you are. We know that you opened the camps up to immigrate these. Notice he said young Muslim men of military age. Is what he said. Young Muslim men of military age. So, in the country of Ireland, the men are going like, Mike Parrott did a couple of shows about this a couple of years back, and I remember listening to him going like, maybe we should try that here. What makes an Irishman? What makes an Irishman? Well, I would say someone that has an attachment to Ireland. You can say the same question, what makes a Moroccan? All you have to have is a desire to swim a river and get here, and that makes you American. I don't think that definition is sufficient any longer. What makes a Louisianan? Well, you ought to be proud to be a Louisianan. You ought to know that the state flag is the one with the... by the way, the state flag of Louisiana is the most Catholic flag in the world. It is the flag where the pelican, which is the symbol from ancient France of Christ, the pelican is pecking its own breast, and there are 3 drops of blood on the pelican's breast, and there are 3 chicks below, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or the Gentiles, as it were, and it is Christ feeding his lambs, basically. What makes a Louisianan?
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be. Okay, please enter the 9-digit 2-step authorization code we just emailed you. Jeez. What do you mean, prove I'm human? Okay, that's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Those are not cars. Please try again. Oh my gosh. I'll show you. Try again, stupid piece of AI mother. Here, try this.
Jim, what are you doing? Good grief, man. This isn't Office Space the movie. What are you trying to do?
I just wanted to send the KingDude a donation through the stupid computer.
Like Trump, the KingDude makes everything better, including donating, which you can now do by mail.
Mail? They still have that?
Of course they do, and the KingDude's keeping the ponies running on time and in business. Just snail mail your donation to P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Ha! And you can't. You're such a boomer. Me this time. And wait a minute. I know they're around here somewhere. There! Ha-ha!
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Sure.
Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property, broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via CrusadeChannel.com. Crusade Channel News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different, like a symphony of facts.
And now, from the Crusade Channel News Desk, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Crusaders. Welcome to Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. I'm Janet Huxley, reporting for the Crusade Channel News Desk, live from the Dothan Farm and Ranch, south of Kansas City, Missouri. Today's newscast is brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It's literally that easy. Here's what to listen for this hour. The president is in great health. Treasury investigating alleged Minnesota fraud that steered money to Somali terrorists. West Coast city snubs Christmas from tree lighting again while activists wave Palestinian flag. New TSA policy to charge passengers. And celebrities join Hallows Pray 25 Advent Challenge. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt released details on the president's MRI scan that was conducted back in October, and the results were fantastic. His health has fallen under scrutiny from the liberal media in recent months, including when it was revealed he underwent a second routine physical for the year, which included an MRI scan, but Leavitt reported the medical imaging procedure was routine and found Trump healthy. The Treasury Department is investigating claims that Minnesota taxpayer funds were stolen by fraudulent nonprofits and rerouted to the al-Shabaab terrorist group in Somalia, according to Secretary Scott Bessent on December the 1st. He made the announcement on social media just days after President Donald Trump eliminated temporary deportation protections for Somalis living there and accused Democratic Governor Tim Walz of failing to deter crimes in the state. Portland, Oregon is under fire again for hosting its annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony and nixing any mention of the Christian holiday, while leaders of the event instead waved a Palestinian flag and led the crowd in chants, "Free, free Palestine." A woman holding a Palestinian flag on stage said while leading the crowd. She also sang Strong Woman Song while joined by the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, which is a confederation of 3 native tribes in Oregon. The event was decked out in Christmas lights, a traditionally decorated Christmas tree, and a visit from Santa Claus, but did not promote any mention of Christmas. Our quote of the day: to convert somebody, go and take them by the hand and guide them. St. Thomas Aquinas. And you can learn all about our Saint of Today in today's Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. Coming up, looking at headlines from the lifestyle and faith world. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for cappuccino holy roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino holy roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
Our saint of the day is Saint Bibiana, and you can learn all about her in today's Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. Looking at headlines from the lifestyle and faith world today, the TSA will begin charging passengers $45 if they show up at airport checkpoints without an acceptable form of identification. That's a passport or real ID. The policy will be implemented starting February 1st of 2026. After careful review, it was determined that the expenses for the new technology and operational costs were higher than originally projected, leading to an increase in the final fee, which had been previously $18, according to senior TSA officials. Hallow founder Alex Jones and House of David star Michael Iskander appeared on Fox to share how Psalm 46, Advent, and the Pray 25 Challenge can help people find peace in a noisy world this holiday season. Hallow's Advent Prayer Challenge, Pray 25, began on Monday, December 1st. Each year, Pray 25 invites people to take a step back from the chaos of the holiday season and take a step close to God. This Advent focuses on discovering deeper stillness amidst the chaos of the holiday season, just as Mary did on that first Christmas. Pray 25, Be Still, offers the opportunity to put aside holiday stress and allow God to transform our hearts through prayer. Jonathan Rumi and Sister Miriam James will lead reflections on the Read of God to begin each week, and award-winning actor and producer Chris Pratt will guide sessions on the ruthless elimination of hurry each Friday. Even Gwen Stefani and Mother Natalia will join up, with sessions focusing on being still, using the lives of saints as inspiration, and Father John Burns will guide listeners through sessions of imaginative prayer, while Father Pierre Toussaint will offer homily reflections each Sunday during Advent. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
This is a pixel. I'm Groot. If you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion, and you've got Joseph Pierce's A History of True England. But it doesn't smell like a history of true England, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So, is the pixel really your friend? I'm Groot.
No, Groot, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend. And we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect. I'm Groot. Yep, we got Sacred Heart flags, Groot. But no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of Joseph Pierce's True History of England, plus a dozen other Joseph Pierce titles at shop.mychurch.com. It's the WWE and the UFC for live talk radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
What's the difference between your average day late dollar short podcast and the Mike Church Show live? About the same as between the new Walker, Texas Homo and Walt Longmire.
Grandma got run over by the Payzar, walking home from protests Christmas Eve. You could say Obama's not a commie, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe. She'd been writing stuff on her blog that we begged her not to post. Then they taxed her medication and said CO2 was causing it to snow. When we found her Christmas morning, bill in hand for the new tax, she had tea bags in her left hand, in her right a sign that said impeach Barack. Grandma got run over by the air czar, walking home from protest Christmas Eve. You could say Obama's not a commie, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe. Now we're watching out for Grandpa. He's been protesting as well. See him in there watching Fox News. Pimps and hoes at Acorn sure can make him yell. It's not Christmas without Grandma. Our tea party's dressed in black as we watch Obama blunder, while we wonder if we'll get our freedoms back. Get them back, yeah! Grandma got run over by the wreath czar, walking home from protest Christmas Eve. You could say Obama's not a commie, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe. Now the bill is on the table, and the price tag is so big. There's no gold and silver dollars that would fund the czar's takeover of our pigs. I've warned all my state's patriots, better stay out of smart cars. They should never give the White House to a man who appoints commies to be czars. Grandma got run over by Obama, walking home from protest Christmas Eve. You could say Obama's not a commie, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe. Grandma got...
Radio show designed for men of Christendom. That's real men of Christendom. We need to do a Bud Light spot. Real men of Christendom. Mike Church Show is on the Crusade Channel, America's morning show. We are live here on a Tuesday. This portion of the program brought to you by Founders Pass Membership Service. Now, I don't know how many of you actually know or even check your podcast. I know those of you that rely on podcast service every day. and rely on you get the show after the fact. God love you. You're welcome. Thanks for being a member. But how many of you know that the newscast is now every day and has been for years? It has its own podcast feed. You can actually subscribe to it on Apple or on Spotify or on Amazon. It'll notify you when the newscast is posted every morning. If you don't want to wait for it, oh, look, hey, I got Janet Huxley on my phone at 4 a.m. First telecast isn't until 6. Also, the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart's Saint of the Day. Sister Maria Filomena is back for December. Love you, sister. Thank you. We're reading today's Saint Bibiana, who is also Saint Vivian. That's a podcast before most of you even wake up. So if you want to share it with your kids or family, if you subscribe to it through the Crusade channel, you can share those podcasts with anyone. Someone that you're working on going like, hey, you're named after this saint. Did you know this? It's just a great way to share the Crusade channel, but a Founders Pass member makes all this possible, and they have access to all of them, including the Mike Church Show. Archives that go all the way back to when we started making podcasts, if you just want the podcast. And certainly, if you navigate through search devices or through the search window, you can go all the way back to, somebody was asking the other day, and I put him all the way back to May of 2016. If you want to listen to a show that old, baby, you have at it. So give the gift of the Founders Pass membership today. A 3-month gift membership is $20. They cost $45 regularly. A 1-year gift membership is $50. The checkout process is smooth and simple. You can even delay the sending of your gift membership to whoever it is that you're sending it to. You can pick the date you want it sent to, or you can choose the print option and you can print it out. And even after you print it out, you could still email it to, well, I lost the printed card you gave me. Do you have the email version? No problem. It's easy as that. It takes you less than a minute to give a $20 or a $50 gift to the Crusade channel. Help us rebuild the Founders Pass memberships. And then more people will come in and tell other people, wow, hey, this is a real radio station. Runs 24/7. Yep, sure does. So give the gift to the Crusade. Go to crusadechannel.com. It's on the homepage now, top of the page. Can't miss it. But if you want to go directly to the page and buy gift memberships and give them away as great stocking stuffers or great gifts for anyone that you know, love, or hate, especially the people that you hate, crusadechannel.com/card, as in gift card. crusadechannel.com/card. Maggie, can we play? Where's Chip Roy?
Oh, I played it after, so it's not on there, but I have it.
Okay. Let's talk about college sports for a moment. By the way, I'm not going to put a lot of time into this because it never works out, but in the event that it could, I will be in the D.C. area next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Wednesday, dude number 2 and I are going to a special screening of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at an actual theater in Richmond, Virginia that's hosted by Chevy Chase. Don't ask me. He bought the tickets. He demanded that I come. I said, okay, brother, I'll come. So while I'm there, Thursday evening and Friday evening, or Thursday lunch or Friday lunch are certainly possibilities for a Crusader get-together meetup. Now, as I said, I don't put any confidence, I don't put any stock in it. It never happens. But if someone wanted to start rallying the troops and say, hey, we could meet at such and such place in Alexandria or Falls Church or wherever, I am game. The only other thing I have to do is interview Commander John Sharp and finally drag out of him the story of how the U.S. Navy dishonorably discharged him and tried to ruin his life and how he beat him. That's one of the reasons why I'm going there, is to record that. But all the rest of the time, man, I am hip to be square and ready to meet you. So that's next Thursday and Friday, because I'm going to fly out Saturday to get back here for Saturday evening. In any event, if you're up to it, you let me know where I need to be, and I will meet all of you there, because someone's going to have to organize it, and it's not going to be me. Kind of busy right now. This is Chip Roy. Yesterday, talking about what in the wide world of sports is going on in college football.
I believe this bill is designed to get through, have a rule this week, and push it through with the forces of, with all respect to my friends at Texas and A&M, the SEC, and the Big Ten, and a handful of others, the ACC, my undergraduate alma mater. With all respect, they're pushing this hard. I think the gentleman from Massachusetts asked some good questions about coaches. I mean, why in the hell are we allowing coaches to walk out and be paid not to coach for years? It's insane. I mean, what we just saw unfold with Lane Kiffin is just an absolute abomination. People say, well, this is the market working, Chip. This is the market forces at play. This is not supposed to be a market, not in that classic sense. Yes, college sports can compete with the NFL for revenue. Yes, college sports can compete with other entertainment dollars. I get that. But this is not supposed to be NFL light. But yet that's how we're treating it. And now we're trying to sort of bastardize this whole thing with a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. That's what we're doing. And I don't think it's sufficient. I think we should have amendments. I don't know what we're doing, what the powers that we have here in engaging and interfering with states. But if we're going to take a big federal step because a federal court intervened, and we're going to intervene, well, then maybe we should fully intervene. Maybe we should fix the damn mess so that we don't have, 16 teams in the SEC and 17 teams in the ACC and 19 teams in the Big Ten and frigging Stanford and Berkeley on the West Coast in the Atlantic Coast Conference, all because of money. I mean, it's just laughable that this is anything but about a massive money grab and a shuffling around of how to...
Of course, it's a massive money grab, but then again, that's what's driving college sports today. And it used to be, what can we teach this young man? And are the institutions, universities, centers of higher learning that crank out better citizens, primarily males? No! Respectfully, though, Congressman, you don't have any authority to determine who's in the SEC, who's in the ACC, who's in the Pac-10, what remains of it, or the Big Ten, or whoever. Now, play digital media file number 10. If Congress wants to do anything about this, you could use the Federal Trade Commission to start suing the NCAA or prosecuting them for false advertising. Remember, the NCAA is supposed to represent amateur athletes. The NIL crap eliminated the amateur part. As I've said, if you're going to pay them, then you're going to have to give them access to more than just NIL. And you might as well just go ahead and tell the fans, look, we lied to you. It's not about the rivalries anymore. It's not about the conference. It's not about this. It's just about how many dollars can we pull in for the university. It's a revenue program. It's a business at that point. But this is this is Odell Beckham Jr. By the way, an interesting thing, a fascinating thing about Odell Beckham Jr., his mother was, I want to say it was his mother, was an Olympian. She was a runner. Okay, and she went to LSU. One of the father or the mother went to LSU.
If I didn't have $1 in my account right here today as we speak, I'm going to be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. We're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest. flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna get my mama a house, I'm gonna do everything.
Mama,
costs money.
house.
So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really 40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, you know? And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting 8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime.
If you can't make $5 million last a year.
You can't make $100 million last. That's a problem.
Well, no, you don't know what. Y'all don't know what it's like. Not $100 million. They're gonna make it take 40%, so it's 60. And at that point, you know, then I gotta pay my homeboy. They gotta pay this. I gotta buy my mom. I'm gonna buy my mom a new house. Buy my mom a new house. Did you buy her one every year? Then I got this and I got an expenditure. You know what? I invested in this. Oh, cry me a river, Odell. Parlays. Again, I want to talk about conservative media, conservative men. Are the two the same? No, they are not. You know, we try to actually be stand-up conservative people around this joint here. It's very underappreciated. It's a thankless job. I don't know why anyone would ever want it. Okay. John Rich did an interview with Tucker Carlson. Now, the thing that's hard about these really long interviews is you got to listen to the whole thing to try and get a couple of sound bites to synthesize down, if you will, the meat and taters of what John Rich was trying to communicate to Carlson. I thought that the part about child exploitation. Well, I mean, if you want to start off with the first one, number 11, why do you think the bad guys come after the kids? Children have guardian angels, don't they? He even mentions millstones in this. No. Go ahead.
That they are.
So they're at war with God's creation, with nature.
That's correct. Why do you think they come after kids? I mean,
stop.
In the New Testament, it says
just quickly. Where have you heard that before? Why do you think they go after kids? Because they're at war with God.
That children have angels that report back to God on behalf of the kids. Like they have their own protection. And probably the most hardcore thing Jesus
called
ever
a guardian
said
angel, dude.
Was you'd be better off to have a millstone tied around your neck and cast into the sea than to ever cause one of these little ones to stumble. Not to rape them, not to murder them, not to traffic them, not to slap them around, to cause them to stumble, meaning to mess with them at all, to mess with their innocence in any way, shape, or form. You'd be better off dead than for that to happen. The Son of God said that. The guy who we follow,
yes.
The guy who we're supposed to emulate and try to live up to his example, yeah, that was part of what he said. A lot of Christians are also under this just total fabrication. God loves everybody.
Well, he does.
I've heard that so many times. Well, God loves everybody. It does not say that anywhere in the Bible that God loves everybody. Matter of fact, when you go to Proverbs 6, it says, "These things doth the Lord," all caps, hate. Use the word hate. And the first thing it lists is those whose feet are swift to shed innocent blood. He hates them. And then you've got the issue of, well, but the Bible says we're supposed to pray for our enemies. And it does say that.
Oh, yeah.
It says pray for your enemies, not pray for God's enemies. Two different enemies. You don't pray for pedophiles, for instance. Those are God's enemies. Their feet are swift to shed innocent blood. He's who we talked about in the New Testament. You don't pray for those people. You go to war against those people. You come straight at them. you do what Jesus would do to them. You see the difference?
Giant
This is not
millstone around
preached
their
in
neck.
churches. Maybe there's a few that preachers actually talk like this, but Americans want a Jesus made in their image, not actually who he actually was, because who he actually was and is and what he told us to do are very difficult things that put you in compromised positions every single day if you do what he actually told you to do, and most people are not willing to do that.
Pretty much sums up where most middle America is. I like the idea, though, that he has about, well, look, I'm going to go to Congress with all these facts and all these statistics about how many children are abused and how many children are kidnapped and are never found. The percentage of those that are found is very low. And I'm going to go, hey, look, give me $2 billion for one of your BS programs and 20,000 troops, and we'll fix this. That's number 13? I think it is. I think it's, no, it's number 14. No. Yeah, it's 14. Incoming BS word. It is. It's 14.
The only way I have determined, and at the end of the video, and I really hope people go look this video up, The Righteous Hunter. At the end of the video, my friend Tim Tebow saw the video. Tim's organization, they hire former police, detectives, former military, intelligence people, and they go out and they find these guys and they rescue kids. That's what they do. We need... I asked the lady that was at the video shoot, she's overseen 14,000 kids rescued in 21 years.
Wow.
And she was trafficked as a kid, so she dedicated her whole life to it. And I asked Brooke, I said, so how many people would we need in America working full time, doing the job that you do or that Tim Tebow does and others to get this number from 1% are returned to 50% are returned? Right. She said, probably 20,000.
20?
Somewhere in that range.
1,000.
And I said, what would that cost? She said, about $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
And I said,
less than we give to Harvard.
That's all? What would happen if you had $2 billion? She goes, they would be running, they would burn their computers, they would get off the dark web, they would be hiding under the rocks and in the caves. They would be hiding because there would be an army of people tracking them, hunting them. The predator becomes hunted.
Okay, stop the digital media fuck. Because he goes on to say that I'll take this to Congress and say, stop one of your BS programs and give me $2 billion and 20,000 troops and we'll take care of this. What the woman told him, though, about, well, if you did that, then they would start burning their hard drives and they'd go into hiding and this and that and the other. This is what's called a deterrence. This is obedience to the unenforceable. Society needs to make these abominable sex crimes again. Start with homosexuality. It is an abominable sex crime. It is a sin that cries out to God for vengeance. It's not me. I didn't make that up. That's a teaching of the church. Start with the low-hanging fruit, literally.
My fans, they can't wait.
Now we just talk about making hit records. Well, parody versions of hit records.
Join the KingDude and Jim Mosier as they pick apart the greatest parody songs of all time and the hits they were based on. It's Album Autopsy, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be, and doesn't disappoint your mother.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. This report is brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. And installation is so easy. Just open up a browser on your device and go to crusadechannel.com. crusade.co/app. Tap the download button, then open the app. It's literally that easy. In the market report, the Dow was down 0.90% and the S&P dropped 0.53%. NASDAQ also fell 0.38%. In National Day calendar news today, we honored special educators on National Special Education Day. It's also National Day of Giving. That's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving because we've just spent the weekend shopping and searching for the best possible deals. Today, we are reminded to give to those in need. It's also World Trick Shot Day and National Mutt Day, and it's Fritter Day. Fritters come in various forms, from morsels dipped in flavorful batters to bits of dough stuffed or filled with delicious surprises. All of the varieties are deep fried, of course. Our quote of the day: to convert somebody, go and take them by the hand and guide them. St. Thomas Aquinas. And our saint of the day is Saint Bibiana. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, a.k.a. Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes, like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
Hal, open the pod bay doors.
I'm sorry, I can't do that, KingDude.
Hal, why can't you open the pod bay doors?
Because, KingDude, MAGA Earth isn't ready for you yet.
When will MAGA Earth be ready for me, Hal?
When 1.76 trillion scales have fallen from their eyes. Oh.
Yes, Hal.
And KingDude, they'll also need a wicked sense of humor.
Don't be stuck in the broadcasting world of 2001. Grab a Crusade size update and catch the Mike Church shows weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. East, exclusively on the Crusade Channel live talk and podcast radio for the 2025 listener, the way it should be. Okay, please enter the 9-digit 2-step authorization code we just emailed you. Jeez. What do you mean, prove I'm human? Okay, that's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Those are not cars. Please try again. Oh my gosh. I'll show you. Try again, stupid piece of AI mother. Here, try this.
Jim, what are you doing? Good grief, man. This isn't Office Space the movie. What are you trying to do?
I just wanted to send the KingDude a donation through the stupid computer.
Like Trump, the KingDude makes everything better, including donating, which you can now do by mail.
Mail? They still have that?
Of course they do, and the KingDude's keeping the ponies running on time and in business. Just snail mail your donation to P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Ha! And you can't. You're such a boomer. Me this time. And wait a minute. I know they're around here somewhere. There! Ha-ha!
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Surely you have...
Of course I do. And don't call me Shirley. The Crusade Radio Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so your donations are tax deductible. Donate today, the Crusade Radio Guild, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
The Mike Church Show. A lone voice crying out in the wilderness.
What
What rights do you think you're referring to?
Rights, like in that official paper that they wrote down the street there?
That's the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights. Don't it say something about going after what makes you happy?
No, that's the pursuit of happiness. But what's your point?
My point is I'm pursuing something and nobody looks too happy about it.
He's defending your pursuit of the right to happiness by way of the truth since Rocky IV.
Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody.
The Mike Church Show is heard exclusively on the Crusade Channel.
Broadcasting live in the age of podcasting. Oh, Scott Resnick, I am so stealing that. That is so good, bro. Broadcasting live in the age of podcasting. The Crusade Channel, America's morning show. Mike Church Show here is on. Has Christmas vacation kicked in already? In the first week in Advent, people have checked out. I want to know, who in the hell are these people that get the whole month of December off? Start off with 60 some odd people in the chat room. Oh, I know what happened. Schaefer showed up. Oh, there, they all scatter like... Give the gift of the Crusade Channel, despite what you might have heard. It's well worth it. 3-month Founders Pass membership, $20 on a gift card. And it looks like a gift card. Did you put the images of the gift cards in the chat room so people could see them? Okay. $50 gets you 1 year, or your friend, rather, give the gift of 1 year. The Crusade Channel Founders Pass membership. That is a $130 saving. That's a great deal, folks. I mean, you can tell your person, dude, I really love you. I got you a membership to something that really matters. You're going to love listening to the Crusade Channel, Mike Church Show, Reconquest, Parrot Talk, and all the Crusade Channel news, Saint of the Day, all the other great stuff that's offered here. Give the gift to the Crusade Channel. It's on the homepage. Can't miss it. Top of the page. Well, near the top of the page. CrusadeChannel.com. Or if you want to go directly to the sales page, CrusadeChannel.com/card. C-A-R-D. So we were playing that clip from John Rich about what to do with the little children and how many traffic children aren't returned and about the millstones and all that. And thought occurs to me as I'm listening to John that he is more than likely, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb. He is more than likely a non-denominational evangelical. Probably doesn't, most of them don't even consider themselves Protestants, just a non-denominational evangelical. And I hear him talk, and I go, and here's what I think. For people to go, what are you going to say about it? I'm going to say something so nice and sweet and awesome and humble. I'm going to say what a great Christian John is. Now, we're going to pray for him to become a saint and to convert to the faith. What a Catholic voice John Rich would be. He'd be able to tell you the teachings of the church on all those things, if he was as passionate about it as he sounds, that he was talking about. He'd be able to tell you about how I pray every day to the Blessed Virgin Mary for the safety and return of those children. I pray every day to the Holy Family for my family to be a perfect imitation of them, or to try and be a perfect imitation of them. You know, the newsletter went out last night, the Crusader Chronicles, from my sister Kay Jamama, and I shared with all of you in there a prayer that if I didn't tell you who the author of it was, many of you go like, oh, that's a cool prayer, TKD. The prayer is it's actually from St. Francis de Sales. The prayer is about being charitable. about bless me, O Lord, do not let me appear before thee stripped of, help me to put on the robe of love and the cloak of charity. Do not let me appear before thee stripped of good works. That's a pretty humble thing to pray for. That you don't want to appear at judgment stripped of charity. Advent is a great time for charity, for giving. You think about other people who need things and not just, oh boy, I hope I get that Traeger grill this year. Oh boy, is this great. That's great. I hope you do get the Traeger. I hope I get a Traeger. But more than that, I hope that you become charitable in your heart and your soul. And it's little things like that. So when I hear John Rich talking about this, I am thinking of what the world, what America needs is the men of Christendom. I said at the end of the last segment, it was a pun, go after the low-hanging fruit, the abominable sin that is homosexuality. It cannot be legal. It cannot be encouraged. It cannot be condoned. It cannot be advocated. You take the position you love the sinner, you hate the sin. We have it on very good biblical and real world authority that wherever wanton public displays of homosexuality, whether they involve children or not, but especially if they involve children, God removes that scourge from the face of the earth. He took the Kempora, the place out in Indonesia, with the tsunami. Everybody goes, no, it's just a vacation place for other Europeans. No. It was a vacation place where weirdos and wackos went to have sex with children. And other perverts went to have sex with hookers and harlots. Yeah, but in the movie that they made, it was the family was there. Well, they must not have gotten a memo that you shouldn't have been there. We've told stories here on this show before of the island of St. Pierre, taken out by a volcano. It was called the Sodom of the Caribbean, Port Royal in the Caribbean. They same deal. God looked at it and went, nope, nope. And took it out too. Pompeii. I don't need to tell you about Sodom and Gomorrah, and there are other instances here. You might want to know that ultimately the temple at Tenochtitlan, which was the site of Aztec acts of murder, human sacrifice, and pederasty, was also basically taken out. Watch Mel Gibson's movie Apocalypto. The point being here, the United States of America has made it a point to tell God that he doesn't have any rights in the public square anymore. And that, that was, that was before our understanding of this. No, I completely understand exits and entries in human anatomy and biology. God was not wrong. He wasn't wrong then. He's not wrong now. No, I don't want to harp on it and say, what is this, a crusade show against homosexuality? No. Love the sinner, hate the sin. You cannot publicly embrace it. As Brother Andre Marie said so many times and in several episodes of Reconquest and here on Wisdom Wednesday on the Mike Church Show, if you have contraception, you are going to have abortions. Deal with it. So if you're running around out there like Glenn Beck and all of the Father Ben Shapiro and all these supposed right-wingers and saying that, no, we're okay with, first trimester abortion, that's okay. Contraception, yeah, that's fine. You're going to have contraceptions, you're going to have baby killing. No, I think you're going to have baby killing anyway. You're just not going to have it legally. There are always going to be men and women that are going to defy God and are going to murder. That's why there's a commandment against it. But you don't have to make it legal. And you can make it so that, society has determined, because God told us, Society has determined we are going to enforce this law of God, and if we catch you committing it, well, then you get you get the same treatment. You know, this idea that we can have all of the contrivances of modern life, and I don't want to give my electricity and indoor plumbing and running water away. We can have all the contrivances of modern life, and we can have them out, because we're modern people, right? And we can have them outside of obeying a commandment that Christ gave us. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things, and his justice will be added unto you. Beatitudes. You can't. But here we go. Men continue to divide. No, we could straddle the line, or we could be this, or we could be that. No. You can't. Wait, can you survive? Yes. What is human flourishing really like, though? It is living to love and to serve God. And as St. Paul says, your reward will be great in heaven. So, you know, as we look at these things and we continue to talk about it, well, how are we going to fix this problem? Maybe we stop defying God, or it's just a suggestion. Yeah, but everyone, I don't know that everyone's going to go along with it. And quite frankly, I can't concern myself with it. But I can worry about Madisonville, Louisiana. I can worry about my parish at St. Patrick's. I can worry about my parish of St. Tammany, or county here in Louisiana. I can worry then about my state, Louisiana. Then if I have to, if you make me, then I can worry about the federales and the federal government. 844-527-8723, our call-in line, telephone number. This is a shocking thing to talk about here. Before you go to Magdalene, well, you know what? Play. I thought you had another Caroline Levitt. I thought you had the one where she said, okay. She was asked a question and she goes, no, this administration has turned over to Congress the surveillance tapes that you are referencing. Nothing has been hidden. We're not hiding anything. Congress is in possession of the tapes. So anyone that says, like Hakeem Jeffries, well, when the rest of the evidence, when the investigation finished, what are you going to investigate? There are no people swimming away from the boat on the videotape that I am aware of. And that's what pretty much she says. Then there was a question about Trump's health. You can play that one, Maggie. Number 3. Why are you hiding the fact that Trump is sick and he's dying? And she goes, he's not sick and he's not dying, stupid.
I will point out one fake news story over the weekend before I let you all go from the New York Times that took about 1/3 of the president's daily calendar and his daily schedule and said that he's doing less than he did in his first term, or he might not be fit for the job. That is unequivocally false, and it's deeply unfortunate that this story was written by the same outlet and the same reporter who wrote this. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One. Oh, same outlet, same reporter who wrote that President Trump is not fit for the job. Are you kidding me? You all see him almost every single day. He is the most accessible president in history. He is taking meetings around the clock. Another one. Biden declared, quote, healthy and vigorous after his first presidential physical. I don't see headlines like that too often about this president. Again, same reporter, same outlet who wrote falsely over the weekend that President Trump is not fit for the job. I can assure you he absolutely is. You all see that with your own eyes on a daily basis, and the president's physician has now given you all 3 detailed reports on the state of the president's health.
Maggie, since you don't have it, I'm just going to play the audio version real quick.
From Secretary Hegseth, everyone be killed, and did that come from President Trump?
I saw that quoted in a Washington Post story. I would reject that the Secretary of War ever said that. However, the president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them, and that's what this administration is doing. Danny.
And that's what, as I said earlier, what part of lethality and kinetic strike don't people understand? And then there is the talk about, well, unless we have a declaration of war and this and that. Would you prefer a declaration of war? How do you get a declaration of war? Is it against Venezuela or is it against the drug traffickers? If you have a policy that says we don't allow illicit, illegal substances into the territorial waters and then into the mainland of the United States, and it's Congress's job to field a Navy or an Air Force or a Coast Guard to see to it that that doesn't happen, who writes the policy? Again, you can't use lethal force. You can use lethal force. Lethal force has been used. Here, I want to ask a question. Should Don John of Austria just had met Ali Mustafa at Lepanto and sailed his vessel up to Ali Mustafa's and said, hey, hi, just a courtesy call. I know you guys said that you're kind of here, you know, to enter the land, and then you're going to steal, and you're going to kill some of the people of Rome, then you're going to go to Rome and take out the Holy Father. But you haven't actually done it yet, so, you know, articles of war and you know, the law of the sea treaty, what have you, say, we really can't attack you on the high seas. The Ottoman Armada hadn't killed anyone yet. And you could say, yeah, but what about the Ottoman Armada at Malta? Well, was it the same one that was at Lepanto? No. The point is, all of this, everything is black and white, and there are no instances where well, no, that doesn't actually apply there. You either trust the CIC or you don't. Now, as someone that doesn't want a standing army, and it says we have to have a Navy, why not patrol the high seas? I wonder who else is out there that's sneaking in by boat that's not being caught and is bringing all manner of illicit stuff, including, dare I say, illicitly captured children. Now, would you blow that boat to Kingdom Come if you knew it had children on it? No. But there's a distinction from a policy point of view here. But apparently it's just lost on me and no one else. Magdalene, the Democrats are now saying that they have all the evidence. This is phase 2. The don't give up the coup. It's not don't give up the ship. The operation is actually don't give up the coup. This is stage 2 of don't give up the coup. And the Democrats now think that they have the smoking gun and they're going to take Pete Hegseth out. From what you've heard and you've seen, is this going to work?
No, and I think that Pete Hegseth has some of the highest support within the cabinet. If you think back to that group chat leak that I think he did bear some responsibility for, it was very clear that he wasn't going to go down. And Trump said something during Pete Hegseth's confirmation process where he was talking, I forget which reporter, but he said, look, if Pete can get through this, he can get through anything, he'll be fine. And to me, that meant that the biggest hurdle for Pete Hegseth was just getting the job. Trump was not going to easily replace him. Pete Hegseth would have to do something disloyal, which he's not going to do. And I don't think that reporters and the CNN conglomerate understand that in the first Trump administration, Hegseth was considered for Veterans Affairs Secretary. So this has been somebody on the short list to serve in the administration for many, many years. There's absolute loyalty. And I think you could even see Pete as a 2028 contender in the VP slot for either Rubio or for Vance if there's some contention there. I don't think Pete Hegseth is going anywhere.
Well, and again, you put people in a position of, okay, the Democrat line, like if you listen to Marco, this kid's like, he's like a 12-year-old running around a stage. And I'm going like, this guy is a decorated member of the United States military. Did you hate him before he worked for Trump? I forget how many commendations Hegseth had and how many, I don't know, Maggie, look it up. I know that he's got a medal. I know that I want to say that he, was it the Bronze Star or the Silver Cross? Hegseth is not a guy that just wandered into the military for an education grant and then got out after he served his 2 years and walked off. He actually served. He actually did tours of duty. And he's actually a decorated, is it chatter signal? Yeah, he's actually a decorated member. Okay. Joint Commendation Medal 1, Army Commendation Medals 2, Bronze Star Medals 2. You're now questioning the qualifications because you go, he's not qualified. Well, tell me who is. You just give you the list of medals here. You're now talking about someone and talking about them as if, he even says, a 12-year-old child playing Army. 12-year-old children playing Army don't earn Bronze Stars, do they?
No, they don't. And to be quite honest, he has a much more impressive military record than Vance does, or that DeSantis does. And if you're looking at who has actually served in a way that they're going to earn accolades, that they have the respect of troops, it's Pete Hegseth. The hatred for him is stupid because Trump obviously loves him. He was one of the main people to continue interviewing him after January 6th, even though his Fox News bosses didn't want him to. Trump remembers that loyalty. Going after Hegseth is ridiculous. However, if you want to go after Pam Bondi, personally, I don't mind that because I would like her to not be Attorney General anymore. I am fully comfortable with that. Go after Pam Bondi. Like, don't do anything like mean to her, but just if we could get a different AG, that would be nice.
And I wonder how long, you said this yesterday, I wonder how long Trump is going to continue. I wonder how long Trump is going to continue tolerating that level of incompetence. Again, you know, you weren't here for 8 days because you were sick, and then we had communications issues. But I covered this, and I said, and Maggie, who was it that we were talking about today where I said, you know what he needs? She needs to go. You need someone that is a naked, rabid partisan like Judge Jeanine Pirro in that position there. Because Judge Jeanine doesn't care. She literally doesn't care. She's a former great prosecutor, actually, who actually put actual bad guys in jail. So someone like Judge Jeanine, are you saying that you want a partisan? Yes. I'm saying I want a partisan hack as AG.
Well, I do too. They put Merrick Garland in. Like, there is no more partisan person than Merrick Garland after he was denied a Supreme Court seat, which I agree with, but he became an extreme partisan, and he was on a revenge tour. I mean, the idea that we're not doing a partisan person when they put in someone on a revenge tour is ridiculous. Matt Gaetz may have been too much to carry, I get that, but literally anyone else, just pick somebody who's very loyal to you and maybe wants a career after this. But Pam Bondi, even if you look at the stuff that's not really partisan, like drug trafficking, stuff like that, she's not been so severe on it. She's taken her time on a lot of things. We're a year in. This is not the prosecution of drug lords and cartel members we were promised by Trump on the campaign trail.
And because you have people that are actually naked partisans, whose naked partisanship violated the law, violated sedition acts, actually are now currently conspiring. Again, this is not don't give up the ship. This is don't give up the coup. Mark Kelly insinuating that the law of the sea treaty, we need to see to it that people in our Navy are properly trained and know about the law, things like the law of the sea treaty. Captain Kelly, are you saying that men that have been sworn in and are currently standing guard as officers and enlisted on naval sailing vessels under the flag of the United States did not receive training in the law of the sea, valid and invalid, licit and illicit, legal and illegal orders, and are out there currently basically just willy-nilly violating laws? And how is it that Congress is all of a sudden now deciding that they need to intervene and need to start jawboning on endlessly about teaching men in the in service uniform what a legal order is and what a lawful order is? You know, your party's been in charge for 16 or 12 of the last 16 years, Captain. What did you do about it prior to this little epic?
Well, he didn't do anything. And I think Mark Kelly is very much like John McCain. He's professionally lecturing us on how it should be. And just like John McCain couldn't be touched because he was a war hero, but then he was a massive interventionist and was okay with many troops being hurt and injured for no reason during the Iraq War and all of that, we have to continuously go along with what Mark Kelly says because he's married to Gabby Giffords, because for some reason Democrats have decided that he is very much like the future of the Democrat Party. He has very high unfavorables. This is something I don't think people realize. This is not a man beloved by his constituents. This is not somebody who was held in such high esteem. Yes, he's a senator, but he also won in an area that was accustomed to John McCain. All Democrats did was run a John McCain 2.0 on their team.
No, and I think you're right about Gabby Giffords. Most people, give him the sympathy card because he's married to Gabby Giffords, who was obviously shot in a near fatal shooting at a little in her district event back in 2011, I think, 2010, 2011. The thing about this is Mark Kelly and others in the Democrat Party tried to hang Gabby's shooting on Sarah Palin. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
They tried to hang it on Sarah Palin because she sent an email blast out with Arizona with a target over it saying this is a state that Republicans need to do better in, and so we need to target it for funds and for activism and for voter registration and what have you. Mark Kelly is in that position not because he was a space hero. He's there because his wife got shot in the head.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. That is why he's there. And Democrats and Republicans alike, for a period of about 5 years, tried to blame everything on Sarah Palin. Everything was her fault. And yet she's still held in very high regard by Tea Party leaders. I think Trump would say that as well. She endorsed him both times. She has backed winners. She didn't like Mitt Romney. She thought it was a mistake. She thought that Newt Gingrich would be a better choice. Her political instincts were not really ever wrong in many ways. She thought McCain should have hit Obama harder on the allegations of him being a Muslim. All of that was very much true. And I think Mark Kelly as well, he's trying to position himself as some authority. Like, we should listen to him about Trump trying to get military members to go in a wrong direction. I see no evidence of that. I think Mark Kelly is a desperate man trying to make a name for himself, and he was led a little bit astray by, like, DNC comms people.
Yeah, and then there's Hakeem Jeffries out there saying there's going to be retribution. I mean, the man actually said that statute of limitations is not going to run out. There's going to be retribution, and you Republicans are going to pay. As a Democrat, yeah. The message of we want to win high office so we can arrest the other party and we can have them prosecuted and buried underneath jails or done whatever with. Do you really think that? I mean, look, are there some nutbags out there that will rally behind that? Yeah, enough to win an election? I hope not. Don't you?
Well, I'm very concerned because I think Gavin Newsom is not a good guy. Like, we all know politically he's not a good guy. But he's begun to play into being a villain in terms of his social media and his general image strategy. And it's very interesting. He posts nasty things about Trump. He does good video edits. He is playing into the fact that he's the villain the Democrats need. And I'm concerned people are going to support that. And then Democrats yesterday, they posted a photo of Melania Trump with the quote Melania said after much frustration, like, who the blank cares about Christmas, over a news report about the trees. Like, people think the Democrats were made quiet or that they've yielded. They haven't. And I think that Republicans need to explain to their voters how nasty this is going to get if Democrats are in charge again.
There's an interesting story. Our political affairs contributor, Magdalene Rose, on the Two-Maker Hotline here with us. An interesting opinion piece at Crisis Magazine. And you and I have talked about this, why the right now cancels its own. And the guy that writes is still trying to work on the pronunciation, Scott Ventura. That's how it's spelled. Scott Ventura. Writes about, okay, once the term woke right circulated beyond Lindsay, now he's talking about this guy, James Lindsay, well, I'm sure you're familiar with. Once the term woke right circulated beyond Lindsay's analysis, it quickly widened. In his interview with Kozak, Lindsay mentions a range of personalities from Candace Owens to Andrew Tate to Groyper, adjacent influencers. Whenever one thinks of those personalities, the more troubling aspect is the fact that the term is now applied well beyond its intended scope. Recent commentaries inflated the label even further. A Times of Israel piece titled How the Woke Right Joined the Left's War on Israel treats nearly any conservative criticism of Israeli policy as evidence of ideological deviation. This is something that we got to get ahead of here. Somebody said it in the chat room. I've said it out loud. Other people need to say it. I do not have, and Mike Church, I'm speaking for me now. I do not have an issue with the citizens of Israel. I do not have a personal, private, deep-rooted, angry, vile issue with Israelis or Israeli citizens. What I have an ongoing, well-founded, well-documented issue with is the ruling government of Israel that has committed war crimes, wants to commit more, and wants to say to the world, we have the full faith and credit and backing of the United States of America, meaning Mike Church, Magdalene Rose, Maggie O'Connell, behind us in what we're doing. No, you don't. We're going to fight anyone, including President Trump and his administration, that says that you do, and you need to be kicked out of power. That is our issue. We'd say the same thing if we were talking about Zelensky and the Ukrainians.
Well, we would, and I will tell you, young conservatives don't even want to mention Israel, even if they hold the same viewpoint that you do, where they have no problem whatsoever with the Jewish people, and it's ridiculous to them that you would have an issue just with someone being Jewish. But they don't want to comment on it. They've become afraid because they feel like if they even say that, people will go against them. And I think that the Fuentes thing, it's a double-edged sword because, yes, he brought a lot of discussions about the Israeli government that people support. The other side of that is it's become such a toxic topic that I think that there is so much fear around discussing it that nothing is being done one way or the other. If you notice, we have a lot less discussion about the Israeli government in general. There's not really a back and forth anymore. Commentators don't want to discuss it, and I understand why.
Well, and then further on in the piece, he even says, Ben Shapiro, there's free speech for me, but not for thee. Ben Shapiro spent years attacking CNN as a propaganda outlet. Then he ran to Jake Tapper to denounce Tucker Carlson for interviewing Nick Fuentes. Mark Levin in Florida, politician Randy Fine likewise urged that critics of Israel be shunned as anti-Semites or traitors. There was an ad that ran during the LSU-Oklahoma game this Saturday that said it was all about, and students, you must, all Louisianans and Texans must rally to fight anti-Semitism on campus. Where is all this anti-Semitism? I really think that what's happening is that this is a pure psyop. This is pure propaganda. The state of Israel, I'm sure. Its intelligence agencies, Mossad, I'm sure. The American intelligence agency, the CIA, I'm sure. Major political players in the United States, I'm sure, have all signed off on this. This is, and they get their media buddies on the same page. How is it just a coincidence that Fox News television cameras and every other right-wing outlet that wants to denounce this, that all of the TV cameras and all the reporters and everything all just happen to show up at nearly the exact same moment, no matter where we're talking about, anywhere in the continental United States, that there's a pro-Palestinian rally. I heard this the other day. A family member, who shall go unnamed, said, pro-Palestinian rally. When were we trained to hate Palestine? And some guy showed up, with the scarf on his head. I don't hate Palestinians. Can you explain to me why I'm supposed to hate Palestinians? Oh, because Palestinians are all Hamas. No, they're not. So you can see what's going on here. I think that this is desperate times for these people, and I think that the end of American hegemony with the government of Israel is teetering in the balance, and I hope it fails.
Well, I think anti-Semitism does exist on these campuses, but this has always been my issue with this. The anti-Semitism that exists is by American teachers towards Jewish students who do have an agenda, who do not like a Jewish presence on campuses and believe that they're on stolen land and all of that. That has existed, but they have not done anything to solve it. There's been no audit of the universities, even though the administration has said there's going to be. That doesn't happen. You want to root out anti-Semitism just like anti-Christianity or anti-conservatism. You have to do it by going to colleges and having students tell you which teachers are doing it. And that might sound very communist, like you're looking into people. But when you have people who are perpetrating hate and still getting federal dollars and really violating anti-discrimination laws, especially for conservative students, you have to take action. Just stating how terrible these colleges are over and over again isn't helping. You have to actually go after the teachers and the administrators who perpetrate it.
Finally, John Rich gave an interview to Tucker Carlson. They spent most of it talking about child sex trafficking and child sex crimes that are committed in the United States. If there's one thing that we can say that we know now, and we know it for certain, it is that the Biden regime completely and totally ignored this and may have even aided and abetted it. Maggie, can you play number 16, the last one on your sheet? This is Representative Eli Crane with Mrs. Hopper on the Biden regime migrant child hotline. I want everyone to listen to this.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do you know how many staffers the administration assigned to answering these phones and helping these kids?
One.
One staffer?
One.
Any idea how many hours a day this staffer was working?
No.
Maybe that's why there were 65,000 calls that weren't answered from these little kids, huh? Unbelievable.
Well, no, it's totally believable. Alejandro Mayorkas perjured himself several occasions. He lied when he said, well, no, all of the, remember he said no, Senator, all the children that have come across have been accounted for. Magdalene, remember that?
I do, and I think that one of the things with Mayorkas as well was that he was covering so much for so many people, and we haven't even seen justice against him. Mayorkas' lie about the border was so detrimental, and it really forced Americans into, gaslighting. I'd like to see him held accountable for that.
Well, you'd have to have someone who was a naked partisan then go after Alejandro Mayorkas. Pam Bondi is looking at the law going like, ooh, that's you. I'm afraid. The law doesn't say I could do that. Is that right? Ooh, I'm afraid. And again, someone like Judge Jeanine Pirro, well, actually, maybe Matt Gaetz would have been the guy, but that's not going to happen. And also just thinking out loud about that, there is a lot of rumble on the right, if you will, on the media right, there's a lot of rumble about just how bad of a job that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are doing. Now, I talked about this earlier. There are two kinds of conservatives left in America these days. You have your media conservative, and then you have your actual practical conservative. Your conservative in media has his own agenda. It's his own well-being. It's his own fortune. It's its own fame. It's its own power. It's his own stature or her own stature. The actual conservative really doesn't care anything about that. The actual conservative just wants conservatism and MAGA to win, Magdalene. And there are good actual conservatives out there. But you're never going to hear about them because you have the media conservatives here. The media conservatives now, it seems to me, many of them are now turning on Patel and Bongino, which I find ironic because the only reason any of us know anything about Dan Bongino is because he hosted a radio TV show on Rumble. The only reason any of us know anything about Kash Patel is because he went on shows like Dan Bongino's and Sean Ryan's and all the rest of them. These two, I know that, and I'm not knocking the career that Bongino had in law enforcement, but it's a different story when you have to actually send men into battle and command them to go do things. And again, it seems to me like and look, they have people talking about them like Kyle Seraphin, former FBI, going like, these two guys are absolute clowns. I think that the knock on Patel is actually starting to actually flesh itself out.
Well, I think so. And Dan Bongino's interview where he was on Fox and Friends talking about how much he's lost in his life and that he's there alone, I mean, he looked crazy. And that was a few months ago, and then he disappeared from the media circuit. Kash Patel seems to be in over his head, and it's fine to put in people who come from the outside. Trump's done that with business, but the difference is when Trump brings in a finance guy who's in the private sector to be involved in government affairs, he's still dealing with finance. He's still dealing with money and everything that goes along with that, and the personalities in high net worth areas. And with people like that, like Steve Witkoff still understands how these people work in terms of world leaders because he's dealt with them before in real estate deals. Dan Bongino has very little idea what he's doing, and that's been clear for a long time. He talked about how he gave up his show and how his marriage is in trouble. And that all this might be true. But he's been saying it on news shows, and I don't think that's good. And then Kash Patel, I think, thought he could do the job. And the amount of messiness surrounding him and his girlfriend, for example, it's mounting. I think Trump could find someone better to do that job.
Well, let me just be clear about something. We have relied on what Dan Bongino has said about, for example, the Butler shooting. Bongino was one of the first, clearest, loudest voices that went, BS. There's no way that security detail was supposed to be like that. They failed. They fumbled. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe it was not. I think as a media analysis guy like that, I think that Bongino gave us pretty good intel. Don't you?
I do. I don't think that he's bad in terms of his positions.
Yeah, right.
I just don't think that he's not a day-to-day guy in this job.
And it may also be that these agencies are just not reformable. You know, I gave you the stat the other day of the amount of Obama and Biden appointees that are still holding positions in the administration. They got to go. Government is not a lifetime. It is something that you do to serve your country for a while, then you go back into the private sector. That is the problem with all this. You know, I've read some of Trump's executive orders. He has addressed this, actually. It takes Congress. You have to speak with a unified voice of the actual federal government and pretty much in unison or a supermajority say, we are going to bring this to an end. Service is not a lifetime. Service is something that you do for an ephemeral amount of time and then you return to the private sector. Yeah, but then we'd have people that don't know how to spend the money. Then don't give them money to spend. I don't need to carry out Article 1, Section 8. I don't need them to do very much. So I'm not even going to blame Patel or Bongino because maybe the job is not doable. But we should then lower our expectations at least, right?
I think so. I mean, those agencies, you're right, they may not be reformable. So that's fine, but begin saying that. Because if that's the case, if they're too widespread, Pete Hicks has said that he believes there are vast areas of the Pentagon that are not reformable. He's fired large wings of it. He's gotten rid of people. And he said we're going to slim it down to assist our fighting force. And when he said that, I think a lot of his negative press took a break because it seemed like he was in action even if people didn't like what he was doing. If that's the case for the FBI, Kash Patel's got to say that because right now it just looks messy, and I don't think Trump likes it.
Well, and I think people that are listening to the show right now and are in our chat room and are chatting about this, I think that they agree that it may be that this thing is it's a big unruly giant beast, and it's just not a civilized creature anymore, and it can't be. You can't turn it into Mr. Smith goes to Washington in his nice, humble little. Oh, I know all the people that work at my local post office, all three of them. I think we're beyond that, and I tend to agree with the outlook in a statement like, then you should tell the president. And for example, there's going to be a cabinet meeting today, right? You saw that. Then they'll do the first 10 minutes of top secret stuff or whatever. Then they'll open the doors, right? Maybe we'll get a little insight into this and see a little bit of what President Trump may be thinking about certain things and certain people.
Well, I hope so. And I would like to see Van Bondi in some ways criticize, just acknowledgement that things are not going that well. And then equally praise on the people who are doing well. Howard Lutnick is doing well. Scott Bassett seems to be doing well. Marco Rubio is, of course, the greatest Secretary of State in modern history. So, there are people excelling. We need to highlight those more because the least effective members of the cabinet are dragging the administration down. And it's not Hegseth who's in that category. It really is Kash Patel. It really is Pam Bondi. I think the education secretary needs a little more guidance because she seems to be shutting things down and then re-upping massive government funding for things. So the Department of Education being shut down, a real timeline and understanding of that, and then explain to the American people how bad the FBI is and whether or not it can be reformed.
Well, I think the Department of Education is shut down, isn't it? I thought that was a fait accompli.
Well, yes, but all the operations of it are still happening.
Oh.
So all the funding of So I want a real answer about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, Magdalene, thank you very much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, that'll do it for us here today on the show. I would love to bring you all that press conference. They usually start around 11. It just depends on what we got going. But if news breaks out, we will try and break in here today because I can put it on and pretty much put it on autopilot. We're going to rebroadcast episode number 17 of Mom's Murders and Mysteries. We were off last week for Thanksgiving. So this is the murder of April Tinsley coming your way next here on the Crusade Channel. Remember, all of those podcasts are available. There's 17 of them now. There's a 5-part series on Karen Reed, 4-part series on Lori Daybell, 3-part series on the Bayou Black Dahlias, the Jeff Davis 8, a 3-part series on the Delphi killings, and there's our Annabelle and now our April Tinsley episodes. Great audio entertainment and informational stuff. People who enjoy a true crime show done well. Ours is done as well as anyone's in the business is doing it. As a matter of fact, I think we're doing some things that one never thought to do on a true crime show. So catch Mom's Murders and Mysteries. Just stay where you're at. Don't go anywhere. 35 minutes right here on the Crusade Channel. Remember, gift cards for Founders Pass memberships. Help us grow the Crusade. You have it in your power. Can we sell 100? I'm going to give you a daily update. Tomorrow it's probably going to be
0.
Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll be disappointed. CrusadeChannel.com. On the homepage, you'll see the gift cards. $20 gets you or your friend, family member, or frenemy 3 months. $50 gets them a year of what you enjoy about the Crusade Channel. Now you don't have to tell them about it anymore. You could just give them the gift card. It is so easy to give, and it is literally technophile proof. It works. Try it today. Shop at a Founders Trading Post store. Great gift packages and gift sets put together by Maggie and I, all of them custom made. You got your coffee one, your tea one, your bougie one, your barbecuing with the KingDude one. What's the other one? There's 5. Grill Master, and then Kitchen Bougie. All available. And with the gift cards. Can't figure out what to give someone from the Founders Trading Post store? Just give them a gift card. Any amount you want. Easy peasy. Checkout is less than 60 seconds. You got the gift card. You can email it. You can print it out. Either way, it just works in the Founders Trading Post store. shop.mikechurch.com. Have a safe and blessed remainder of this Tuesday. And the first Tuesday in Advent, when news breaks out, we'll break in. God bless you and Mary keep you.